Hello everyone and welcome to Low Ink May 2022. I am DRF, joined by my co-commentator for these first three rounds of Swiss, Nox, and we have a fantastic first round for you all with Ewfish taking on the Bamboo Dragons.
We're opening up here on Rainmaker Snapper Canal, which is always an interesting map to see. Because pop doesn't matter, popping the Rainmaker barrier here doesn't matter as much as it does on most other maps.
Yeah, it really doesn't. So it's kind of one of those weird situations where you want to go and push that Rainmaker early, but there's no benefit to doing so. You're better off sort of just spreading out a little bit and starting to get a lot of ink coverage. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see how these teams end up playing in this early game and what sort of unfolds from there to see who can get those early picks. And as a result, that might open just a quick opportunity for the Rainmaker to get pushed up mid. You might, if you only get just one or two picks, grab it, swing it to the left. So we'll have to see what these teams end up doing with that.
Absolutely. A sub I'd really like to see come out here is actually Toxic Mist. I think for stopping those street pushes quickly, it's just the best thing you can do.
Yeah, no, I think that is a super valid point there. So, let's see. But I believe both of these teams are Low Ink veterans.
They absolutely are. They have been around for a minute.
They really have, so. All right. But with that said, it seems like these teams have readied up. Let's go ahead and jump into game one of round one of Low Ink and get 2 days of exciting action started. Let's see what these comps are. Let's take a look at these comps.
We are seeing a Carbon come out. We are seeing rollers out from both sides, something you don't see a ton of.
Yeah, actually. Some pretty interesting choices here. Because I believe is that a vanilla Carbon?
It is! Something you very rarely see. You're also seeing a vanilla tent coming out here from Ewfish, which I'm really liking on this map mode because it allows him to pressure that street so heavily.
Yeah, and I mean, right away, we're seeing that this is the beauty of Low Ink, where you kind of get these untraditional weapons, untraditional comps that are coming out, and this is just the very first game. And very quickly, we are seeing a little bit of a bloodbath in mid as these teams try to duke it out to get control of this Rainmaker. And for right now, both teams exchanging a possession each. Getting some points on the board, but nothing significant yet from either side.
Big trade there from the roller onto that 52 gal as this 10 is trying to push into this street, into this hill area along with this splash. Really just clearing out a lot of space, allowing them to take more control and stop this push in its tracks.
Yeah, and it is just enough for them to get the lead. So Bamboo Dragons, though, seeing themselves go 3 down, and now Ewfish might actually try to take the sneaky.
Yeah, we're seeing them push through Sneaky, taking full advantage of that tent shield and those bubbles, allowing them to clear out so much space, allowing the Rainmaker to just kind of get to walk forward there for free.
Yeah, but this is a little bit of a tricky area to maneuver. Can they get the lead from it? Yes, they can, barely by just about 4 points. And with 3 down, this push is just about dead.
It is. The Splash is still holding that hill area in a really good defensive position, avoiding this 52 while managing to stay up as they are pushing forward. And we're seeing the roller go for a flank here.
Yeah, and not sure if this one's going to end up paying off. It doesn't look like it, but this does result in a couple of trades here. 2v2 situation now for both of these teams as Bamboo Dragons are trying to just get that Rainmaker out of Sneaky safely, drop it, and work on getting this lead back. It's not going to take a whole lot for that to happen, but they just need a small window to open up there, and here it is, and this is going to snowball into a much bigger push, getting a bigger lead than we have seen so far this game.
I will say 44 on this map is not too hard to beat. This is a map that can easily go all the way down to 0, or it stalls at like 70 for the entire game. Just depends on the day.
That's actually really true there. It kind of is just one or the other extreme. So far, these teams have just really been playing a game of runs where one team kind of has a nice little run there to get the lead. The other team answers with a run to get the lead back, and it's just been back and forth so far. I think this is the first time we're seeing a push that doesn't result in a lead exchange, and that's going to be a complete wipe on the side of Ewfish.
And they're going through Sneaky now. I do want to say, I like how Ewfish is moving forward with that bamboo, with that tent shield to really clear space ahead of them. It's not working out quite the way they hoped, it doesn't seem, but it's a great idea. And a great pick from that Tri-Slosher, really showing off just what the Tri-Slosher is good at, of running forward and saying, I don't have to be super precise, I can just kill you.
And that is why I play that weapon. But from now, we have Ewfish that does pick up this Rainmaker once again. The tent bubble combo trying to lead the way, but no, it's going to be the Carbon.
Get in.
Yes, and that's going to be a nice double there from the roller. Not going to be able to find any more, though. Ewfish picks up this Rainmaker once again after eliminating that roller threat, and this gives them an opportunity to start moving forward just a little bit, but the Rainmaker sitting on their own. The two teammates going to be able to come in and hopefully support this, and that's going to be 3 down on the side of the Bamboo Dragons. Can they get the lead, but will the Carbon shut them down? The Carbon
does manage to shut them down, but it's a trade. They can continue this push, especially with those beacons that they have set up over there.
Yeah, this push is definitely not done yet, as Ewfish continues to maintain the pressure and
great
keep
splash down
himself
there
in
from
this.
the Vanilla Roller. Actually using that to stall the Rainmaker barrier, clear out some space. It's just the K-Shot trying to pop that right now against the Roller and the tent. And they might be able to make something out of this, but not quite as the Zap manages to get the pick on them.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit eager of a move there, and now the jumps are coming in. They're starting to play a little bit desperate. Ewfish just starting to just lose the control here. And Bamboo Dragons, if they play their cards right, this should be an easy victory in these closing 10 seconds. But the Rainmaker is going to reset. No one from the Bamboo Dragons is over there, so Ewfish is going to be able to pick up this Rainmaker, get one last push, but it's not going to last long.
Yes. What a great opening game. Very back and forth, very fast-paced, and a lot of cool weapons came out. I loved seeing Ewfish try and push forward with that tent. Didn't quite work out for them, but you could see the idea there.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that sentiment. It's fantastic first game between these two, and it really was, as I had mentioned earlier, a game of runs, where in that first half, every time someone picked up the Rainmaker, they got the lead. Mm-hmm. And the second half is where things really started to just slow down a little bit. We did see a good breakthrough push by the Bamboo Dragons, and it just ultimately was a little bit too much for either team to overcome there. The 44 would end up staying. So a nice, middle of the road push where we had said that this map had been so one way or the other, where everything just kind of stays low scoring or you get a knockout. So they're definitely proving us wrong a little bit.
And next up, we're seeing Clamblitz Inkblot Academy, which is such a tight map mode. It's such confined spaces. It really, I could see the Rollers having a great time here on this stage.
Yeah, if they both do come back, that would be fantastic. But, given that we are seeing such unconventional picks in that first game, who knows what else might be in their pockets as well.
Absolutely.
Because definitely the more off-meta weapons that are played, I feel like those are the type of people that will play a wide array of weapons as well. So
yeah, I completely agree with that. I definitely have known people who prefer off-meta to have wider weapon pools. Have to make it work on different map modes. Have to be more flexible.
Yeah, so gonna be interesting to see what comes out here. I honestly really love this map mode combo. It's a fun one.
It's
really
especially
is.
Since you mentioned that you play Tri, it seems like a great Tri-Slasher map.
Yeah,
all of those
especially if you can get all those ledges, and especially if you can sneak your way behind the basket. It doesn't happen too often, but
once you're set up there, you're good.
Player,
how are they getting you out?
Exactly. It's going to be pretty interesting to see if either the Tri comes back, those Rollers come back, and if they can utilize the bat there to get behind the basket and hopefully lead off a push that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see what they're bringing out. We are seeing the roller come back. We are seeing a heavy remix come out and a rain zap. Not weapons you see very often, and we're seeing the same comp out of Ewfish.
Yeah, Ewfish are running the exact same thing there. While the Bamboo Dragons, definitely a couple of interesting changes here.
I don't think I've ever seen a rain zap be used in comp before. I'm happy to see it, but it's not a common pick.
It is definitely not a common pick. Who even knows? It might be a tall tale at this point when the last time that was seen in comp was. But very quickly, though, we do see two members of the Bamboo Dragons. Yeah, so 2 down from on their side, and this might give an open window for Ewfish to make a play. They do have 19 clamps in their pockets and complete control of this economy and pushing the Bamboo Dragons way back now.
We are seeing the splash move in there with that power clamp. They do go down to that heavy. Great positioning there from the heavy. It is just the 10 up, and that is a full wipe. They only push to 74. This is an easy push for them to come, for Bamboo Dragons to come back and get them from. And they're able to really clean up space here as they got that quad. And they're just able to move in here with these Booyah Bombs and just clear so much space.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a missed opportunity there for Ewfish as they only got the 1+2 there. And Bamboo Dragons tried to respond and didn't really get much either. So kind of just a complete massacre on either side so far, where just teams who pushed just got completely erased.
This map is prone to getting full wipes like that. Like, Clambless is already a mode prone to that when you're pushing, but this map especially just because of how tight and cramped everything is. I really like the heavy for that reason, because it just can control that flat area so nicely. It can cover the whole thing.
Yeah, and with 1 down on either side, we do see Bamboo Dragons with most complete control of mid. They are going to be able to get their first power clam in as a result. Can they get the second in? No, it's going to be just short. And this push is also going to close. So some, very quick pushes here, getting only 1 power clam on either side, plus the 2 that Ewfish got on their first push as well. So at this point, it's just going to be, once again, I think a game of runs where these teams are going to throw in a power clam and maybe a couple more, but someone really needs to make a big breakthrough.
And that is a triple from the Carbon, really doing a great job just maintaining this flat area and saying, this is not for y'all, this is my space.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Bamboo Dragons, once again, a little bit slow out of the gate to try to convert, said triple into a push of their own, as they are going to go 1 down as well.
Heavy doing a good job just staying alive there, maintaining this pressure. Not going to probably be able to find a pick on this roller, but letting their teammates know where they are, using that point sensor. And they're doing a good job just holding down this space, waiting for that K-Gal's flank to go off, and hopefully make something out of it. Great pick there from the heavy. Booyah Bomb coming out. Although we do see the try up here on this flat. Going down.
Yeah, 3 down once again for Ewfish. The KAs in this one are definitely up there. Going to be higher than the scoreboard by the end of this. But finally, it looks like Bamboo Dragons have an open window, but no, they're going to get shut down. Both power
They're having such a hard time getting in through that step, in large part because of that tent, to be fair. The tension try are just so good at shutting down those areas that it's just hard to get in.
It really is. 74 might actually stand at this pace, which is
But all it would take
crazy.
is 1 power clamp from Bamboo Dragons to win the game. They just need to set up, they could get away with setting up just the super jump in with a power, which is something I usually try to advise against, but in this scenario, it could work.
The K-Gal, though, getting a nice double there. Just 1v1 between the Zap and the tent. But look at this! It's going to be Ewfish with the score here. They're able to get, I think that's just the 1 power clam in. And that actually might be what makes the difference here. If Bamboo Dragons can only get 1 power clam in, that's not going to be enough for the lead. They need 2 more on top of that, but they haven't been able to get that so far. Great pick from the Carbon there onto the roller. Carbon
really trying to clear space here, using that storm, pushing out that Tri-Slosher a bit. Booyah Bomb coming out. This could be a big push from them with these 2 Booyah Bombs.
Yeah,
and we do see the heavy go down in the 52 gal trade, and that is probably going to be their last chance at pushing. They do still have that pity, so it's not game yet. Oh, but the Zap is out here making it happen, or trying to. Able to get it in, not quite able to get the jump in time. Carbon's still there at best, still there, but not quite able to get it in either.
Yeah, they need 2 clams, but no one is close enough to this basket. They're going to go ahead and pick up this power clam to hope overtime is awarded to them. And with 2 down, this is going to be very, very difficult to make this push happen at this stage, but they will get 1 shot at it.
They only get 20 seconds for this 1 shot, and they don't quite have what they need.
No, but they do actually get 3 down there, but it's not going to be in time, as time will expire, and I mean, Ewfish coming up clutch there. That last push from them to extend their lead down to 67 was precisely what they needed to run away with this game and tie it up 1-1.
Absolutely. Without that, they wouldn't have had this game.
Yeah, they probably still would have because well, no, actually, no, they wouldn't have. Never mind, I take that back. Because that 1 power cut did bring them to exactly 67. I don't think they got any extra power, any extra little clams after that.
I don't believe so. I believe it was just the 1 power. And next up, we are going to Splat Zone's Piranha Pit. A very big map mode. Would not be a shock to see the Heavy coming out here again.
Yeah, I think the Heavy would definitely be an excellent choice to stick around. If, you know, they want to keep that. You know, that Booyah Bomb can easily just flip one of the zones and establish a neutral map. So
it also really
choice
prevents people from being able to just hold forward on this map,
yes,
because the Heavy will just eat you if you hold forward.
Exactly. So the tent, if that comes back as well, it definitely operates well in the tight parts of the map in the center where the zones are located. Can definitely make it a little bit difficult to reestablish control of the zones if you are on the defensive end facing that tent.
Absolutely. It's definitely a map that it is one of the few zones maps where you do sometimes see Ray come out, which I'm always a big fan of. Of course, it's the good missile map, but every map's a good missile map.
Welcome to Splatoon 2.
I do expect to see that try coming back out. It's been doing so much good for them. Probably that vanilla roller sticking around too.
Yeah, if that try wants to come back, I would love to see them utilize the Nouveau if that's part of their arsenal. It's, in my opinion, definitely works really well here to utilize some of those splat bombs around the corners of the ramps, and the rain just across the zones can be devastating at times. Or if you manage a lockout, just putting the rains up on those snipe areas makes it really, really difficult for a team to come back from. So that, I feel like that would be a really fun and interesting pivot if that's something that they're able to do. All right, but let's go ahead and jump into game number 3. Game 3 hype. This set is tied 1-1. Let's see.
And we are seeing a K-Pro come out. And a Kensa roller, it looks like. No, it's still a vanilla roller. I just am a little silly. We are also seeing a Sorella tent, which is exciting.
Yes, and the Nouveau, my beloved. I think that is a fantastic pick here to make this work. But early control is going to go to the Bamboo Dragons as they get first control of these zones very quickly. Let's see how long they're able to hold on to this, because this one tends to go back and forth a lot with both of these zones so close to each other. And just like that, Ewfish in control of these zones.
Something I do like to see here is with that 99.9 K-Pro build, we're seeing the Rain Zap come out, which is just going to give them that chip they need to get those picks so much more easily.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that there. And, well, right now, Ewfish actually going to pick up the lead here. The Booyah Bomb going to come in and neutralize one zone. I think they actually got a pick off of that as well. So 3 down on the side of Ewfish, which will open this door for the Bamboo Dragons to get back control of these zones. Penalty is not that large, so they should be able to work through most of it and possibly consider getting the lead here.
We do see that tent holding that Curling Rush, popping it now, trying to really move in with it. We are seeing their Splash moving in with it too, and just really trying to clear out the space, trying to recap zone, preventing Bamboo Dragons from claiming any more time.
Yeah, so once again, back and forth these teams go. That has been the story this whole set. as these teams just go on little runs, getting the lead back from one another. But at this stage here, Ewfish was in control of the zone, but Bamboo Dragons looking to stop this run with 2 down on the side of Ewfish. But they continue to hold on to these zones, barely not able to get the lead though, and finally the Bamboo Dragons see themselves in a position to stop this before they can lose the lead. But they need to get just a little more control, and no! 3 down on the side of the Bamboo Dragons!
Something interesting to note here is neither team is running armor, something you almost never see.
Honestly, yeah, that's pretty interesting to have an armorless comp. As I guess that's kind of resulted in this bloodbath that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I think that's definitely contributing to it, especially since it allows both of those rollers to go in a lot more easily, since there's no armor protecting the other team.
So 2 down though on the side of Ewfish. They are somehow maintaining control of these zones, but of course, as I say that, the Bamboo Dragons able to pick up control for just a little bit. They're now working on that penalty and looking to close this gap in the scoreboard.
The Heavy's doing a great job here of backing off when they need to, really making sure they're careful to stay up, knowing that they're acting as sort of a beacon for their team to jump into.
And with
trying
that,
to point through that roller, not quite able to find them though, as they get rushed down again.
Oh man. Yeah, definitely getting pushed back big time now is the Bamboo Dragons. Ewfish starting to find a more solid grip on these zones. A lot of action happening in Useless, and this is really not where the Bamboo Dragons want to be at this stage. They need to be closer to those zones, trying to contest them, preventing any more points going on the board for Ewfish.
We are seeing this pro here really trying to move in on this right side, able to trade, but not quite able to pick on the hurling rush. As the 10 is regaining this space control, doing a similar job to the Heavy in some ways of just maintaining a space and saying, no, you can't have this, and having a bit more luck with it.
Ewfish continues to maintain a little bit of control here. These zones teetering in their favor. But with this Booyah Bomb here, will Bamboo Dragons get control? Yes, they will. 2
and they
down,
managed to get 3 down.
And this is going to be a huge opportunity now for the Bamboo Dragons. A stray bomb is going to make this a lot more difficult for them. Fantastic to slow that one down, because without that pick, that would have been so much harder to break through, because they've already got neutral once again, and these zones might go back in their favor.
Down to them again. And it looks like, and the try goes down there. This is Bamboo Dragon's last shot to try and get these zones and really get a good hold. They do have that Booyah Bomb at the ready. The Heavy does go down. They are having to lock out this tent and just really aim for control here. Roller dropping down onto zone, not quite able to find any picks super easily off of it. K-Shot out here, painting zone, doing a great job of it. Getting a great pick. They're doing a great job pinching these last couple players as they're slowly coming in. Ewfish needs to be very careful to not feed in here. This is a situation where if you feed in, you lose.
It definitely is, but we do see one member go down. They do get the neutral on these zones, and it's starting to teeter in their favor, but it's not going to be enough. 2v2 situation now, as Bamboo Dragons are
hurling rush out of the tent,
painting.
able to maintain neutral just long enough for them to take that win.
Ewfish coming up clutch there, barely surviving this one. I mean, just frantically painting that zone on their side of the map to hold on, and it just wasn't enough for the Bamboo Dragons. Wow, I mean, I honestly had no idea what was going to happen in that overtime there, as it really seemed like it was either team's game at that stage. I really thought Ewfish was going to blow that numbers advantage that they had, but alas, they pull out a nice clutch victory.
They did a great job maintaining their headspace and just making sure they got the specials to move into zone when they needed to. Wow, so 2-1 is this set, going in favor of Ewfish over the Bamboo Dragons. I mean, what a wonderful first set that we managed to commentate here, Nox. Absolutely, a really exciting first set.
Well, I hope that is a sign for things to come, because this is round 1 of 6 for today. So I think we're going to go ahead and take a short break as we get this next match up and ready for you all. You do not want to miss this. This is going to be a fantastic low ink ahead. Stay tuned.
Fired the missiles really early. Is it going to be enough to delay? Penalty points moved away. 8 seconds now.
To go now. Strawberry's going for it. They're going for it. They neutralize it.
Oh, Footman stops him at the end right there. And
that was a fantastic bomb rush. It was timed perfectly, and it just closed the game out. Like, I say that, I'm going to caster curse him. I just caster cursed him. I did it. They got to 4. I complimented the win, and then I am so sorry. That is my bad.
Pick on Lucifer in the zone and combined with the baller, they're able to kind of stall this out. They don't have a lot of penalty points they need to work through. A Booyah Bomb is built up by the Delicious Nuggets, but it's going to be hard to use Booyah Bomb. They just take it out! 2 players going down!
Big picks there by, I think the Rapid helped initiate that. You see the Junior here. The Junior's been doing a lot of the bridge control this game and just shifting between the two where it's needed the most. We see the Rapid go down. It was acknowledged. And just spinning around in these fights to help initiate 2v1s. I've noticed that's been a really key thing that Molly Whoppers has been doing, is that their prime support player is doing what they should be and is popping off on top of it.
Tower, you know, you want the E-leader on the tower.
There's nobody up on this right side. There's nobody on the bridge. That could be where the Carbon is sharking. The missiles come out, and there's going to be a lot of aggression, a lot of pressure towards this tower. The Carbon is all the way behind them. They spotted out. This is going to be enough.
They called it out. They did so good. They did so good, but they didn't.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Low Ink. This is round 2 of Swiss. And I am joined here by DRF.
Woo! All right. Time for the second round of exciting action here. I mean, that first round was fantastic.
It was so
The
back and forth.
bar set real high now as we bring on these next two teams. We've got 5 Cheese Toast taking on Self-Portrait. 2 fantastic team names.
Absolutely. This should be very fun to watch, especially with such exciting names coming out. As always, with Low Ink, we're hoping to see some interesting weapons.
Yeah, and interesting weapons is probably what we will see as we get started real soon here on Tower Control Anchovy Games. That's going to be the first map mode, and this one does tend to bring out some really interesting comps.
Yeah, it's a map mode I've always liked to see double inkjet on. I think it's so good for clearing out that top area as you push up.
Yeah, you know, definitely some that's a weird and interesting comp. That is a real possibility. So personally, I don't know these two teams well enough to say, you know, what sort of shenanigans that they will be getting up to.
Hopefully
but
some sloshers on this map. Never hurts to see a slosher on this map, for sure.
yes, and working with those ledges as well, rollers can definitely be something that we can anticipate as well. But of course, we're being fun and exciting, but they could just end up bringing out a very meta comp with all shooters. But there's
Always
one way
a
to find
chance
out.
of it.
Let's take a look at what these teams have for us.
We are seeing a Nautilus and a Carbon coming out, and a VDS.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, CDS, not even a VDS.
Yes, so CDS coming out on the side of Self-Portrait. Pretty interesting pick there. And then the K-Shot and Orange NZAP as well. I mean, double NZAP actually for Self-Portrait. So definitely a sort of meta comp here with just a couple of, you know, fun adjustments as well.
A very good way to go about building a comp is making small adjustments and seeing what you can get away with. Seeing what you can make work for your team and for your players.
So it is going to be Self-Portrait that does get control of this tower here and is building on a lead after getting that 3
coming
down
out
on
at an
5
interesting time, but managing to find a good pick there on the K-Shot as everyone's bunching up in this back corner here.
Yeah, and it is going to result in a couple of picks on either side now, as both these teams trying to get control of mid, because that's really going to be crucial for them to, you know, really get a more meaningful push. Both teams have had a couple of points on the board, but nothing notable yet. As, you know, you really need to have ink on the ground here in mid, hopefully trap a couple of people, get some picks, and then lead off with that push from there.
We are seeing that Carbon really pushing into their space, not quite able to find the picks they were looking for. Inkjet coming out trying to play cleanup, but not probably going to be able to find too much, although missiles also come out here. Inkjet's going to land in a second. CDS really trying to find something, but not really finding an opening they're liking to move in with. Carbon finding a great pick there on the Zap.
Yeah, and this tower just continues to go back and forth. No one really having a solid grip of it quite yet. But with multiple players going down on either side, as well, we're going to try to clean up business with the CDS, but the CDS is going to dodge roll out of the way and get control of this tower, leading this push off on their own. Hopefully teammates are behind, following them. And it looks like the CDS is now going to start to push this plat, hopefully to get a couple of picks and make this first checkpoint fall with ease.
And they do have specials to move up with here, which will make their life way easier. Their first set of missiles is coming out. They've got another almost ready. Not quite going to be able to get it out, though. Storm comes out here. They're trying to get this Carbon out of the corner. And the K-Shot manages to do it, but does go down in the process to the Zap on the other team.
Yeah, and that Carbon coming up big there, stopping that push before the first checkpoint can fall, seemingly out of nowhere to do so. And that's going to, you know, work. That's going to pay dividends for 5 Cheese Toast, as that preventing that first checkpoint from falling is really huge, especially because we're over halfway through this game. 2 down on the side of Self-Portrait, though, should give 5 Cheese Toast the opportunity to work on this first checkpoint and hopefully make a breakthrough.
Great pick there from the Nautilus as they're trying to move up to the spot. taking full advantage of those teammates' missiles, really able to just play for space here, cleaning up, holding this down, and along with getting picks in the process, Inkjet coming out, which is going to be able to really maintain that top area, along with pushing down into their office. Just a great use of Inkjet there. Love to see that. That is a lot of people on tower, admittedly. Doesn't quite work out super well for them, although they do get that second checkpoint to fall. Carbon does go down. It's just that Nautilus left, and it seems like they've backed up to mid.
Yeah, but the damage has already been done here by 5 Cheese Toast. They did break through that second checkpoint, which is huge for them. As now this is going to be a little bit of an uphill battle for Self-Portrait, because that second checkpoint is sort of that key marker on the map. If you can kind of break through that second checkpoint, you're in a very, very strong position. But that with 2 down, make it 3 down on the side of 5 Cheese Toast.
Rough for that Zap popping that armor for just themselves. They probably thought they were going to manage to get the Inkjet. They probably didn't expect it to go down quite that quickly. Always a rough moment as an armor player when you're the only one that receives it.
Yeah, so, but somehow 5 Cheese Toast managing to make a fantastic recovery here, not letting a single point get scored by Self-Portrait there.
There are only around 30 seconds left, though. 5 Cheese Toast needs to make a big, big push here, and they just might not have the specials to do it.
Yeah, it's definitely a much steeper hill that they are climbing now from where we were just about 30 seconds to a minute ago, because they are quickly running out of time. They need the picks to make something happen here. It's they're finding, from the looks of it, they're finding a couple trades, able to get a second pick there, but no, with 2 down, this might just be set and done unless they can hold on to this tower, which looks like they will force overtime at the very least. They do get their numbers back and do have a slight advantage to work with, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to break through that first checkpoint, but 5 Cheese Toast going to reclaim that tower to put this one away, putting them up 1-0.
Really great use of specials there out of 5 Cheese Toast. The Nautilus doing a great job of knowing how to use their weapon really well and take up that space. Carbon doing a great job of getting some sneaky picks, as Carbons are so prone to doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the roller did a fantastic job of just maneuvering around enemy lines, kind of just coming out of nowhere to make a couple of clutch stops there. I really feel like the Carbon gave 5 Cheese Toast that opportunity by shutting down that early push there, or that push right around that first checkpoint. I really felt like that's where the game sort of twisted itself and just became a huge momentum push for 5 Cheese Toast to work all the way up to that second checkpoint and secure the win. So kudos to them for that. But with that said, we're going to be getting ready here for game number 2, which is going to be Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track.
Always an exciting map mode. To me, it's always one that strange upsets can happen on. It's never very solidified.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. It's a really fun map mode combo where everyone kind of knows where you're gonna go, what's going to happen, but then somehow,
you could try to push through, right? You probably won't, but you could.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always fun because like these games kind of work out exactly how you think they're gonna happen, but then something happens that you don't think is gonna happen.
They make a break through the wall of bombs that get thrown.
Exactly. So it's one of those that it's like we know what's gonna happen, but there's always some sort of plot twist.
Yes, I will say that this is a map where mist helps prevent plot twists very heavily because it can just shut down that elbow area so well.
All right. Well, 5 Cheese Toast grabbed that first game. We're going to get started on game number 2. Can Self-Portrait make a comeback here and respond? Let's find out. Nox, what do you see from these teams?
I mean, I'm seeing that Blob Deco come out, which will be incredible at popping the Rainmaker. That C-Jet's going to be really great at just stalling time. We're seeing double missile out of Self-Portrait again, which is going to be a nuisance to try and push through, but probably won't shut them down for that long.
Yeah, I love the adjustments here from 5 Cheese Toast. Coming out with that C-Jet and the Blob, I think these are fantastic picks to be going with here. As particularly the Blob, to just work these angles and just make it really, really difficult for any push from Self-Portrait.
We are seeing armor get popped here out of Self-Portrait. Really hoping to clear some space. Not going to be able to find any, though. Instead, going 2 down, even with the armor. And that is 3 down. This is going to be a big push here. The Zap might try and flank through mid, but it won't be in time to stop some points from getting on the board. Missiles coming out, clearing a ton of space for that Rainmaker. Rainmaker manages to not drop. Great pick there from the Blob. Really incredible use of that wall mechanic. And they're just rushing this Rainmaker, and that is going to be a KO. A very fast game, too.
Just like that, it's done.
Not back for you. You find one good opening and you rush it.
Yeah, I guess the plot twist for this game was that it's over in about 30 seconds.
What's a low ink without a 30-second Rainmaker game, though, to be fair?
Wow.
Really great play there out of 5 Cheese Toast.
Yeah, I really can't tell you much about what happened there. They got a couple of nice picks, opened a window of opportunity there.
Noticed that flanking Zap and managed to get that very clean bounce off the wall for them.
Yeah, and you know, just like that one's in the books. So I guess we'll go ahead and first of all, congratulate 5 Cheese Toast for winning this set 2-0, but this is a play all 3, so there is still something to play for both of these teams, as tiebreakers are definitely something to consider here when hopefully trying to get into one of these brackets.
Yes, especially if you end up in that 4-2 situation, which everybody always hates to see.
It is so dreadful to be in those 4-2 situations. You have no idea where you're going to end up. You could be the last seed of Alpha.
You could be Gamma, you could be Alpha. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. So, or anywhere in between.
Absolutely.
So,
and next up, we are seeing Clamblitz on Reef. Always interesting for this map, because every once in a while, somebody will make that push through car work.
Yeah, Clamblitz Reef, definitely, you know, a couple of different avenues that you can try to push up with. And, you know, trying to sneak around by that car. You can try to just utilize your specials effectively with bubbles, booyah, whatever you might want to bring out to just push right up street.
And we are seeing that Blob come out again. Love to see it. And we are seeing the same comp out of Self-Portrait again. We are seeing a try coming out from the player that was playing Carbon on 5 Cheese Toast, which will be interesting. Yeah.
So Self-Portrait definitely, I'm not sure if sticking with the same comp is going to be, you know, to their advantage here. I mean, it definitely seems like that these are weapons that they're comfortable with, but they are going to have to rely more so on getting some picks rather than, well, with their main weapon, rather than trying to utilize specials, because the missiles are a little bit tricky to sort of lead off a push with on this map mode, but hopefully they can make it work.
We do see the CDS getting a pick on the Blob there, trying to get a pick on the Zap, not quite able to find it as they back up towards their Nautilus to give them some support. Zap trying to hit this bridge area, not quite able to, getting picked off by the Zap 89. And the Zap 89 is forced drop, manages to make that power. Nautilus trying to push into that car area, managing to find some cleanup. That is 2 clams in, though. And a singular small one as a little treat. As the CDS almost manages to make it out.
Almost. There. I was about to say I have no idea how they are still alive, but they were finally shut down there. So a nice push there from 5 Cheese Toast, or I mean, sorry, Self-Portrait actually.
That was Self-Portrait.
My apologies. Yes. So a fantastic first push from them. And 2+1, and now 5 Cheese Toast with 21 clams in their pockets to work with. So Special's going to come out now as they inch their way closer to this basket and to start leading a push off themselves. But no one is going to be down.
Redown. It is just that Nautilus left, and they're doing the smart thing here of holding their street, playing carefully, not overextending, managing to survive that bomb just barely.
Yeah, so 5 Cheese Toast now going to be doing a little bit of a reset here, gathering right around their basket to stop any sort of push that Self-Portrait is going to make here. But Self-Portrait now with 2 power clams. They're going to back up and play this a little bit more cautiously, build up some of those specials, and hopefully utilize them to lead into a push. And with those missiles coming out, hopefully they're able to sort of get 5G's to scattering, lead them into a couple picks, and start working their way back towards the basket.
Absolutely. That armor also came out, allowing them to clear a bit more space. The next set of missiles is out. The CDS has gone down, though, and we are seeing armor and inkjet ready on the side of 5 Cheese Toast as they try and just maintain their street area, waiting for their opportunity to find a good opening. That is 3 power clams, so they're all visible right now on the map to 5 Cheese Toast, really making it harder for Self-Portrait to find a way in.
Yeah, they're going to have to rely on that last member, but with that said, 2 of them do go down, so they are going to lose 2 of those power clams, which you kind of hate to see it, but at the same time, it almost might benefit them at this stage to kind of reset a little bit, because they're going
power
nowhere.
clams is rarely beneficial, in my experience.
It's great if you're in a position to push.
Yes. Unless you're already pushing, yes. We do see 20 clams ready on the side of 5 Cheese Toast, but they don't have them tossed together in a way to make a power. So they need to communicate a little bit, make a power here, as they're really able to clear up the space right now, trying to find a pick up in the stack, able to find it. They just still don't have that power ready. They have 23 clams and no power, which is really hard to try and push in with. The CDS goes down on right. It is a essentially 2v3 situation, as the Nautilus finally gets some clams and can try and not quite able to have that power still, which is almost a good thing because they were inkjetting. But we do see that 1 power getting in from the blob there. Zap trying to get a couple follow-up clams in. Might not be able to find any, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be a little bit surprised here that they did not have any follow-up here. It seemed like that they were going to be in a position there to at least get, a small follow-up. Maybe not take the lead, but
it shows
something.
how important it is to communicate where you need those clams earlier. It really emphasizes that point pretty well. Try getting a great pick there on the CDS as they overextended. Try just sharking on this bridge, waiting for a good opportunity. Thinks they can get the K-shot. Doesn't quite manage to, but the K-shot does drop to them, clearing out that bridge area quite a bit. Armor being popped by the try, allowing the Nautilus to try and get some good movement, and they are 4 clams away from the power from the Nautilus. They need to make sure that they have powers ready for this push.
With 15 seconds to play here, 5 Cheese Toast does have a lot of clams in their pocket.
Great pick from the Nautilus. This is a potential situation where they can push. We do see a power ready from the blob. Rain coming out. They can throw a wall down in front of them. They did not do it, though. This might be game. They might not be able to get that in. And they don't manage to. It's just that Nautilus up, and they can't quite make it happen.
Yeah, and that's a wipe on the side of 5 Cheese Toast. So Self-Portrait going to survive this one and steal a game right under 5 Cheese Toast after a very dominant game, too. I mean, Self-Portrait responded.
They did. They did a way better job with their specials that time. They moved together more as a group. It shows how much of a difference it makes that you just coordinate everything.
Well, 2-1 once again. So splitting the first 2 rounds here. I mean, what more can you ask for?
What you want to see, really, is just close games and close tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, every set has had like a little bit of everything for us so far. We've had some really dominant games. We've had some fantastic responses, close games, back and forth. A little bit of everything here in round 1 and 2. And that's just a third of day 1.
Absolutely. A couple things that we would like to bring up here is there's Duel Link 100 next weekend on Sunday, May 29th, and Friday Night Frenzy Season 4 kicks off on Friday, June 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern, which will be both of those will be very exciting to watch. And if you can participate in Duel Link 100, I personally always recommend Duel Link.
Yeah, no, Duel Link is always a fantastic time. But as well, we would like to bring up Friday Night Frenzy Season 4 is kicking off Friday, June 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. 8 teams will be battling it out across a 7-week regular season, plus a top 4 cut. All matches will be streamed and commentated, so be sure to tune in and follow your favorite team. Follow at FNF_SPL on Twitter and Splatoon Tourney on Twitch to follow all the action. And with that, we are going to go ahead and take a quick break here. Please stay tuned for some more low ink action. There is 4 more rounds ahead. You do not want to miss it. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Low Inc. May 2022. We are here in round 3, ready to close out the first half of day 1 with Mystic Inc. versus ShipShape.
Yeah, and we're opening up here on Wahoo World Zones, which is always a fun map. A very strong map, even more so than usual for missiles, because it just really forces you off of the areas you want to stay on.
Yeah, definitely is the case. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what these teams ultimately end up bringing out here to try to work around that. It can definitely be a tricky map mode combo to break out from, especially if you get wiped. You know, we can see some lockouts occurring. But if you're able to, you know, sort of break throughout a lockout situation, you can really get a back and forth game, which is always really fun to see.
Absolutely. I would not be surprised here to see an Octobrush coming out from Polizon. I'm fairly confident that I've seen them play that a good number of times.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that would be super helpful for them. But I think also worth noting here between these two teams is that they're both right now sitting at 1-1, which means that this set is pretty important for both of these teams, as you do not want to go 1-2. That really puts you in a tricky situation where you're now kind of scrambling to make sure you make it into a bracket through the rest of the day. Where if you're sitting at 2-1, you have a little bit more wiggle room to work with, and you're definitely allowed just a couple more mistakes, but you're more importantly positioning yourself in a spot to fight for all 3 brackets.
Absolutely. It's always stressful to be in that 1-2 situation. It's always feels very precarious for the rest of the day, for sure.
All right, well, with that said, we are going to be jumping into game number 1 here. Splat Zones on Wahoo World. Let's take a look at what these teams bring out for us.
We are seeing a sploosh come out, something we don't always see a lot, and that is a Baller Nautilus, along with an Octobrush coming out of Marsh, and Polizon is on that V-sploosh, a weapon that's very rare. Love seeing the Double Bomb Junior coming out from Potter.
Yeah, I mean, Octoshot, the Octobrush, definitely a couple of choices here that are a little bit less conventional, but look at Marsh!
Marsh really rushing down this Junior here, trying to make it happen. It's a bad matchup for a Junior to be in, coming from personal experience, so the Junior did a good job there of just backing off and respecting the Octobrush. Junior already half to armor again, giving him a chance to push in. They've got that splashdown ready. They've got Booyah Bomb. They're almost to an Inkjet, although the Junior does go down before they can get that armor off. Very unfortunate to see.
My goodness, a very, very quick start here for ShipShape. They do see themselves at a slight numbers disadvantage now, but holding on.
But do they care? Not with Marsh on that brush.
Wow, I mean, Marsh is playing this game at 1,000,000 miles an hour right now, just setting the pace, and Mystical Ink cannot keep up. 20 points remaining already for ShipShape, and this might just be a 100-0 knockout.
It seems like it's very likely to be. I mean, the 52 gal's popping this Booyah Bomb, but that's not enough to cap this zone, especially with the Tri-painting over it, and that is game. That is a 100-0 hold, led by that opening triple by that Octobrush. A really incredible set of circumstances to watch. I think every time anyone on ShipShape went down, they were just able to jump back in immediately without any hesitation.
My jaw is like unhinged right now. That was crazy. That game went from 0 to 100, both literally and figuratively, in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was a quick game. Something you don't see super often in zones. That's usually more of a Clamblitz experience, not Clamblitz, Rainmaker experience.
Yes, 100%. Wow. So very quickly, we do see ShipShape securing game number 1, and Mystical Ink is left picking up the pieces, wondering what just happened.
That was just a really good opening triple there out of Marsh, really seeing an opportunity, seizing it. Seems like their Nautilus did a good job cleaning up for the rest of the game. just based off of KA at the end. The brush just was holding a ton of space, and brush is really good at that on a lot of maps because it just has those huge hitboxes that you take chip from no matter what you do.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think, at least from the perspective of spectator, it really seemed like Marsh as MVP there. The KA was well distributed throughout the entire team, though. I do want to point that out. Everyone seemed like they were pulling their own weight, but we definitely got a Marsh highlight reel on stream here.
And next up, we are going into TC Sturgeon, a map where I personally find longer range weapons tend to fare a bit better. What are your thoughts on it?
I agree with that. You do see a lot more long-range weapons do well here, but at the same time, you can definitely have a lot of, very, very short-range weapons that are able to work well starting to push up, particularly in the late game pushes, where you start to get through to second and third checkpoint. That's where you really want a more aggressive comp to put it away. But in the early games, trying to establish mid and working through that first checkpoint, those long range weapons are really your focal point. So you definitely want a solid balance of the two on your team. And it'll be interesting to see what how these teams sort of addressed those different phases of this game.
Absolutely would not be surprised to see that Octobrush come out again just because of how well it did for them. Nautilus is really solid on this map. I would be surprised to see the Baller one come out over the Inkjet one here, but you never know.
Yeah, I at this point, Mystical Ink, they need an answer for the aggression that is ShipShape. They need to, maybe utilize a little bit of range, or, just be a little more willing to push up, try out some flanks or something. They need to experiment because, right now is the time that they need an answer, because otherwise this set's gonna be gone just like that.
Absolutely. This is the time where if you have, a secret pocket K-Pro, this is a good time to pull it out. It's a pretty good answer. Oh, and instead we're seeing a Nautilus, which will accomplish a very similar thing of just giving them that bit more range. Polizon switched over to that Octobrush. We are seeing the Beacon Octobrush out of both Octobrush players, although very different kits. We are seeing the Try come out. Always nice to see that armor. I will point out that ShipShape is running without armor yet again. Always interesting to see. We've seen a lot more armorless than usual today.
Yeah, and 2 down Mystical Ink early on here. So ShipShape finding themselves in a good position here, 2v2 situation, but the aggression is still in favor of ShipShape as they are going to work their way towards that first checkpoint. Mystical Ink trying to get to that tower, but still a little bit out of range. They're finally able to shut it down right before that first checkpoint falls. Which is right in time for them. I think that's if you're gonna get that stop right there, is a good time to get it done.
Love seeing the beacons get used here by Polizon as they're able to really clear a lot of space that way, breaking the other team's beacons. Very fun to see this many beacons out in a match. Not something you see a ton of, but it allows teams to get into mid so much more quickly and clear so much more space. Marsh being forced to trade there, which is a pretty solid trade. They're on Octobrush, works out pretty well for them.
Yeah, and this one's definitely a little bit more back and forth now.
As you just see players playing hide and seek with beacons.
Yeah. Both of these teams getting picks left and right. So neither team really getting any dominant control. As now we do see 3v4 situation. We're seeing 1 down on either side.
We are seeing ShipShape pull a little bit ahead here in terms of numbers, but that does not last long as the K-Shot manages to push it. Not the K-Shot, the Nautilus manages to push out the other Nautilus.
Yeah, I mean, the Nautilus on ShipShape right now putting in work, though, with 8 KA in this first 2 minutes.
Yeah, they've been having a good time on that ball or not. Not a weapon you see, not a kit of that weapon that you see a ton, but neat to see it coming out. And we are seeing 3 down on the side of ShipShape. This could be a big push. And they are down to 30 already. Armor's out. This will allow them to take up so much more space on the map and really just clear this out. As Kevin over here is pushing this tower, does seem like they might go down to not, forced to jump out. but that still applied so much pressure at least. It stalled out. They did manage to get that checkpoint, but it stalled them out for a second, allowing ShipShape the chance to try and get back in here.
Yes, but 18 remaining is a really solid place to be, and they still have the numbers in their favor. So this push realistically should not be over yet, but Marsh doing a great job of just holding them back, keeping the pressure up, and making Mystical Inc. sort of second guess what they're doing when they should be punishing this numbers advantage.
Absolutely, they should be way I would expect them to be way further up in the street by now, to be fair. I would expect them to be, especially with the short range comp that they've got, I would expect the Nautilus to be on tower and everyone else to be pushing up into street.
Yeah, and now it seems like we are getting that, but they do go 2 down, as that seemed a little bit like a 2v4 situation. You know, we wanted to see them push up, but at that phase, you have to be careful with the numbers as well. It was
just a little too late. You have to react in time.
Exactly.
Everything about Splatoon is fast and aggressive a lot of the time, especially in lower level play, where specials are a little bit less organized.
Yeah, and timing is everything. As now we do see 2 down yet again on ShipShape, and finally Mystical Inc. going to be adding onto the scoreboard. This could be a knockout here, but
Try is really just trying to
job.
deny it, though. Able to get one more pick. It is a 2v2 situation. Nautilus trying to get on this tower, but of course it's at that fun, awkward angle that this map does have, where they're just not quite able to get on it.
Yeah,
and it looks
tower
like
is slowly moving forward, but finally it seems like ShipShape is back in a power position here, where they can slowly work their way back towards mid and hopefully get this tower to reset itself.
And they are 2 down again. They just can't manage to stay up against this Nautilus here, doing so much work for them.
Yeah, I mean, they had a fantastic early game, but since the first minute, Mystical Inc. has been in the driver's seat, just dictating every move for both of these teams.
Yeah, it seems like ShipShape kind of panicked when that happened, and they just haven't been able to regroup themselves, really. They've kind of been going in one at a time, not pairing up well, which is just always a very bad thing to do, especially on a map like this, where everything's so open and people can see so much. Kevin managing to break that beacon in mid, which will stall them out for getting back in as quickly. And ShipShape just has to try and push this all the way to 5 from here. They need everybody to jump in, they need everybody to push, and they need to rely on those beacons for that Octo Rush. They need to notice that somebody is in that bottom area. Doesn't seem like they've quite noticed yet, and there is still that beacon down there, and they are not able to get the pick. And the Nautilus manages to get another down thanks to that beacon, and that is probably going to be game, as Kevin has to try and rush back and isn't able to get there in time.
Wow. What a response there from Mystical Inc. to close out game number 2, and once again, we are guaranteed a split set here in round 3. Game 3 hype.
Absolutely, gotta love a game 3 that's just ridiculously important for both teams.
Wow. And looking at those KAs.
Yeah, really high KA game. It was a bloodbath out there.
Yeah, Mystical Inc. with a very balanced effort there. 16, 14, I mean, everyone in double digits there, so, you know, they definitely were getting every pick that they wanted. In ShipShape, it definitely was a tale of, you know, like the first minute was looking really good. By minute 2, the Nautilus, I believe, had something like 8 KA or like 10 KA, somewhere around there, and it just really really slowed down in the second half. So they were having a hard time, I guess, getting back into positions that they wanted to, and just weren't able to rack up the kills anymore.
And next up, we are going to Rainmaker on Blackbelly Skate Park. Would not be surprised to see the Sploosh come back out here. Always nice to have on this map. Would expect to see the C-Jet come. Actually, I don't think they've run a C-Jet. I would expect to see a C-Jet come out here, though. It's so good for just denying pushes on this map. It is C-Jet the map, essentially.
Yeah, C-Jet definitely a focal point for a lot of different comps on Rainmaker Blackbelly. And both teams we have seen pull out Tri-Sloshers as well. Tri-Slosher, not necessarily fantastic on Rainmaker itself, but Blackbelly is just so slosher friendly with how with the different curvatures of this map, being able to slosh over any angle and be able to pick off anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so It's such a good slosher map in general. It would be neat to see a blob come out, but I don't expect it from either of these teams. I do think it's really strong here, but it's not an easy weapon by any means.
All right, well, both these teams are ready, and I think we are ready to dive into this decisive game number 3 here in round 3 of Low Ink. Rainmaker on Black Belly Skate Park. Nox, take a look at these comps. What do you see?
We are seeing that C-Jet come out. We are seeing juniors from both sides, which will be really good at getting pop for both teams. We are seeing the Missile Octobrush coming out again from Polizon. And we are seeing no Octobrush out of ShipShape this time, which is a surprise to see because they've had one every other game. Ray is already out, and they are really pushing that Nautilus back. And Brush is already pushing in through that right side, although their junior is down for ShipShape already. But it is a 2v3 situation, favoring Mystical Ink.
Yeah, ShipShape always seems to find themselves in these numbers disadvantaged situations, but continue to make it work on a number of occasions here. Finally getting 2 picks of their own, and they're going to go ahead and pick up this Rainmaker and push this as fast as possible, taking advantage of the 2 down that they have.
Great pick on the junior there. I would like to point out that Marsh, who had been on Octobrush, has switched over to Junior. They have pushed all the way to 20. They might be able to get a few more points here, all the way to 17. Ray isn't going to take them out. This is going to be game, most likely. They managed to dodge that bomb from the Junior. Brush is trying to get the pick, manages to, but they should be able to get repop here. But they aren't going to as the Nautilus goes down. Try is probably going to try and shark here. Not going to be able to because their teammate jumps into them. But they are going to try and keep this push alive just a little bit longer. Kevin going into this left side, trying to just stay alive, clear some space. They're going to try and grab that Rainmaker, but it's just not going to quite happen for them as they've all gathered around it to try and prevent any of those funny pushes. We do see the Brush flanking through this right alley here. With missiles ready, probably going to put down a beacon sometime soon.
Yeah, Mystical Ink, a little bit fortunate here to still be in this one, but they will get an opportunity themselves. A Rainmaker, any lead is not safe, so it's still a fair shot for them.
Try gets a great pick on the Octobrush there. Nautilus cleans up that K-shot, that Octo shot, as the C-Jet is trying to push in here, but not able to do a ton because it is C-Jet. It does very weak damage on its own. It can do cleanup really well for other players, but on its own, it has a rough time getting those picks. Octobrush getting a great flank off as the Junior is pushing in, trying to deal with them, but gonna have a hard time with it. It's not a great matchup for Junior. They are managing to stall them out though and stay alive, which is important to see. There are still over 2.5 minutes left in this game, which is wild to see with how fast it's already been.
Yeah, that is for sure. As we now see Mystical Ink is going to get a window here. They're going to push us all the way to 35 remaining.
They have to get all the way to 2 to get the lead here, though. And that is a great pick from that Nautilus, cleaning up 2 of them, pushing them into a really bad situation as they pick off that Octo shot and are really able to just take the space back, say, no, this is our map, this is our game. We decided that already, and they're just playing patient, playing smart, making sure they get those specials, and getting the picks they need without overextending. And getting rid of those beacons. Can't forget to get rid of the beacons.
Yes, that is very important. And with that said, we do see Marsh trying to bring this Rainmaker back to neutral, but it's not going to be any good as Mystical Ink continues to just be very aggressive. Unfortunately for them, it is a little bit of an uphill battle, but they can still make it work here as we do see 2 members of Mystical Ink being very aggressive here, able to get a couple of nice picks, and they are going to be able to try to slip through here, add a couple more points to the board, but do get shut down. But this push isn't quite over yet as 3 members are still around this Rainmaker to try to keep this one alive.
Yes, Try doing a great job there, getting rid of those beacons, preventing the Brush from jumping in and doing those flanks they've been doing the whole time. Brush is on respawn, probably going to jump into a beacon they have somewhere. I don't quite know where, but I'd be surprised if all 3 were in that spot. Try holding this mid area down, Brush going for the flank again. Hopefully they notice it because of the beacons, but they might not. Nautilus doesn't seem to have noticed as the Brush is going for this Rainmaker, and the Nautilus luckily did notice. Otherwise you would have seen the Brush just grab that and KO, because the Nautilus would have pushed forward.
Yeah, definitely a good call out there. You always have to be careful with brushes, with how sneaky they can be.
Mm-hmm. And there are 40 seconds left in this game. All ShipShape has to do is play patient and play smart. They don't need to over-aggress this. They have plenty of sub-weapons to just throw at the Rainmaker and stall. They don't need to do anything wild. They don't need to try and push. They push to 3. They just need to try and stay alive. And they're doing a good job of that. You see one of their players jump out.
20 seconds to play at this stage. The Inkjet going to be coming out trying to get a couple of picks. And that's exactly what Mystical Ink is going to need if they want a chance to come back here. They do have 2 down. If they could get this 3rd, this is going to be a huge opportunity for them.
Flash goes down in the process, though. And all the Nautilus and Splash need to do here is just stall them out. They don't need to do anything too wild. The Junior probably is double bomb at this point. I didn't quite catch their gear earlier, but I'd be surprised if they're not double bomb at the end of a Rainmaker game. Pretty much every Junior build does that at this point.
Yeah.
All you need is LDE.
Yes, very true. But with 3 down, Mystical Ink, the Rainmaker in a precarious situation here. They're going to get shut down. So the lead that ShipShape established early on here is too much to overcome. And ShipShape will win game number 3 and the set.
Yes, incredible job there by ShipShape, just playing really smart.
Oh man, and the Nautilus having a fantastic rebound game here with that 19 KA to help put this one away for ShipShape.
Yeah. Really great games there. Really back and forth. Really fun to watch.
Man, yeah, a fantastic end there for these 2 teams. So ShipShape is ultimately going to come out on top 2 games to 1. And I mean, I don't think we could have asked for a better 3 rounds to commentate here, Nox. Every set getting split 2-1, and it's these types of sets that just make low-level Splatoon so exciting to be a part of.
Absolutely, always really great to see.
All right. Cool. Well, I believe that is gonna do it for us, though. It's always a pleasure to be invited by IPL to commentate these. So I guess we'll go ahead and plug ourselves real quick. Nox, where can the people of our chat find you?
They can find me at Twitter at NoxRaven42, and they can find me on Twitch at NoxRaven42. Pretty consistent everywhere.
And as for myself, you can find me on Twitter at DRF_Splatoon and on Twitch at BrightonDRF. Thank you all so much for accompanying us for these first 3 rounds. There are 3 more rounds of exciting low ink action coming at you. You'll have a brand new set of commentators joining you for that one. Thank you all so much. Stay tuned. You do not want to miss the rest of this.
That's so important as a charger player, especially, you know, when you have those blind spots. If your teammates are watching the flanks and making sure that you're safe, I mean, you can get snipes constantly, like we've been seeing Kai doing. I love that. We're getting to see that. Oh my gosh, Cap just throwing up.
If you're smart about them, they can do the work.
doing the work they will. They're trying to get these specials online right now. They do have the bubbles and the armor coming in after clearing the way with the rain, getting them out of the zone. And they're going to be able to make their way through for at least a little bit and able to distract on that left side of the bridge while the bubbles are coming in. They're able to combo that to get a massive triple, and all of a sudden...
In a second, it will come out. It's going to be very close right here. And then the Rays online. This is going to snowball, I think.
The lead is going to be swamped in 3, 2, 1. Lead is not swamped. It's stuck. It's stuck at 1. But the tower's going back.
Did they get it?
They're trying to get it. Oh, they did get it right at the last second, and now they're going.
If your opponents are looking up, you're going to be exposed from a lot of different angles to incoming fire. So it's very risky to try to push back in, but rising up 2 will succeed. Dino putting in work with that K-Pro. Sakura taking out 1. They get 2nd, going for 3. Can they get the triple? They will. They will get the triple, yes, and that's going to. As long as they can just support the Rainmaker, this is going to be.
It's going in so strong here, followed up by that then Inkstorm. This is their last chance for Rising Hope. 2 power climbs going in the basket, and they're going to get it in, and they're going to get the lead with 1 point remaining. Wait, why is overtime happening?
Because they dunked, and they were technically not in the lead when overtime started, I think, by like a second.
All right, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome back to Low Ink May 2022 Day 1. I am Debbie here, joined by my awesome clone, Dev. And we have a Dev and Debbie takeover.
Yeah, who came first, the chicken or the egg? Actually, it was Debbie. She's older.
Older, got lots of experience. Yeah, you know, you've definitely had people asking if you were me. So, you know, we had all this moment. Anywho, we are on to round 4. We're bringing you Prism versus Surf and Turf. And I literally just commentated these two teams head-to-head on Minnow Cup. So seeing them again, it's a rematch, and it's gonna be fantastic.
Snapper Canal. Clan Blitz. Okay. Well, you just saw him on Minnow Cup. What do you think they're gonna run here?
Well, the way they did this last time is that Prism ended up having a pretty decent upper hand for a bit when the Tetras kind of came in from behind and took objective. And in which case they combated it by bringing in a Clapple Dooley. So they had Dooley v Dooley from Gudra, and it worked out really well for Surf and Turf. So both of these teams are relatively decently matched. And this map mode in general, it's one of the best map modes to test your team skills on.
There's so much
so many different
splitting
ways.
Oh god, yeah, because there's just so many different. This is such a big map, and there's just 2 ways you always have to go about it. You always have to be considering bike and then street. Clapples though.
Yeah, they brought out the Clapples last time. I don't know if that's what they're going to bring here. They might bring another thing that they have practice, but they know what they're going to be up against because there's been Clash Blob Tetras are well known on Prism, and then the 4th one kind of changes between a different shooter. So we'll see how they start out here.
People definitely want the range on this sort of map. Oh, and they're getting it with a Blob on one side, and it looks like a Mini on the other is going to be the longest range we have.
We also see the Kenta Octobrush coming out from Surf and Turf as well, probably to be that extra fast-paced weapon to combat the Tetras. Prism looking with something that they usually do, the Tetras and the Blob combo. It looks like we got a 1-for-1 trade already on one side, and the Brush is now going to go in to see if they can try to pinch this Blob, which they do.
Surf and Turf is pushing bike. They've already picked someone off there. They're probably trying to secure this right side and then push through street, maybe? Oh, but one goes down to the Dark Tetras.
Take it coming in with that splashdown, just able to finish that one player off. However, just missing a little bit of aim there. Splash able to take off the Tetras, and now just looking to get some extra clams and paint control. They do have Inkjet at the ready. I think Surf and Turf is probably going to look for a push here soon as they're at 15, 16, 17 clams.
Oh, Gudra is probably going to pop this Inkjet soon because he looks like they want to push across the canal, get that flank in. I wonder if they're going to go through street. No, seem to have been stalled out by that rain there. Can't make anything happen quite yet.
Look at this. James is in position here. They're getting a jump in from that one clam. Hammer is popped. This is going to be initial score for Surf and Turf. Can they find another pick here with this hammer? They find 2!
Oh my god, hammer on street. That is really a menace, but can they get extra clams in?
Looks like they do. After getting that 3rd pick, Prism is in a two-man stagger right now. And Surf and Turf looking absolutely strong, just positioning on these high points just to keep Prism back. Tetra's trying to find a way, and it looks like they did pick off the Brush. The try coming in, getting a 2nd. I think they finally have successfully defended as Steven here has a ball, revealing themselves that they are, in fact, retreated enough that they can't get picked.
Yeah, that Bob Blobber really was able to just get those points off, like just get those little bubbles off and stop that push at 50. But this is going to be, it's a pretty good lead already, but we have 3 minutes still left to go, so we'll see what Prism can come up with.
My history on this map, it's not over till it's over. We see the Mini here looking to try to reclaim street as Prism is trying to come in from that way. It's kind of back and forth, but the Tetra is kind of just diving into everybody and does go down there. So now it's a 3v4, and Prism here now has to try to resecure a way in with the Tetris missing that one pick that they wanted to find.
They seem to be setting up on bike for a push here, but hard neutral. Inkjet pop.
That was such a close range inkjet. It's just like, it gets a second one. That's huge for the splash there. And the hammer coming in. These follow-up specials with each other are coming in. They're working really well for Surf and Turf. And Prism is having a hard time just combating it and realizing, like, this is going to happen. They have these specials. Instead, they're charging into them, trying to pick them before they get launched. But it's not really working out for them as they want to.
Yeah, Surf and Turf is just really able to secure these picks with their specials, and so they're getting all this advantage. It really seems like Prism just wants to set up this right side because they've been hanging around there a lot up on bike. I wonder if going street might actually prove more useful for them with this rain too.
Their longest range is the blob, so they have to really get the blob established to make street work. And in the end, they still have like the Tetras that can come around on a side angle. They have the Tri that can come around on a side angle. And knowing these two players, those are the angles they love to take with these two weapons. But it looks like Prism here, they have Surf and Turf behind. This should be a score, but the brush says no!
You can just hear the Jaws theme as the brush jumps down from its shark. It gets louder.
Oh, what a stop by the brush, just there at perfect timing. And I mentioned this before on another match, but I love seeing brushes do this when they realize, like, they need to still be back in a defensive position. They're finding that side ankle to come and pinch in with their teammates, and everything's just baited to them. Seekin getting stuck in the middle here, and it's 3 down for Prism again. Surf and Turf just being this tidal wave, just going into this basket back and forth. They can't even get, like, Prism's having a hard time trying to push.
2 specials pop to keep this push going. That was a really efficient clam passing too. There's absolutely no stall. Oh, this might be the end of their push though. Only one left, the brush.
Yeah. And the brush does get caught there, just missed the side pick, but still, they're down to 15. This is a solid lead here for Surf and Turf, but Prism here now. Overtime is about to begin. They do have 2 power clams at the ready. Close to 3 even, and now they really got to secure this way in, and they really got to watch this snipe and what's in front of them. They're trying to get this other clam in. It throws it forward. The brush is in the way yet again. 2 are down on Prism. 3 are down on Prism. It's just the blob. They do, however, get that second power clam in, but that is definitely not enough. Does the Tetris just come in and see a Tetris?
Yeah, the last desperate push. That was good to get those 2 in, but it was definitely... They didn't have enough control to just keep that push enough to get to 15, and that's a big gap to come back from.
Absolutely. I know that is it. The biggest thing there, what is it? We're getting to the KA screen, but just from what I could see on top is both the KAs weren't too far off from each other, but Gudra did pop off there, getting a solid 19. So KAs, besides that, it's still looking like relatively decent with the 2 front lines getting a lot of picks. But the biggest thing is that one front line would kind of go in too far and the others could not follow up with any other special. Meanwhile, Surf and Turf, we saw they popped the Inkjet, followed by the Hammer, or the Hammer followed by another special, and they were staggered specials that worked out much more in their favor because the entire team was there. There were times where Prism would also go in, like, they had these specials at the ready, and it looked like they wanted to win the 1v1 before the special was popped, however, just underestimated it a little bit.
I definitely feel that for both of these teams, they ran both much faster comps, the only real backlines being like a mini or a bob lubber. So the fact that Surf and Turf were able to get all those picks beautifully with the Hammer and with the Inkjet especially really gave them the advantage because they were able to pick off Prism before they could even get their specials built, and they never seemed to have their specials ready for a decent enough push.
And I think from the last time these two teams faced off, just from my memory, is like I said before in the last set, Seekin had a lot of easy moments coming in from behind and getting a lot of good flanks off. Surf and Turf is stopping that big time. And they did that really well on Snapper, on Mako. It's going to be a little bit harder to see. But I imagine they're still going to bring out this Blob, this Tri, this Tetra. I'm just not too sure what the last one's going to pull out. Compared to what Surf and Turf's going to bring.
This is a much smaller map, so if they bring the Blob out again, especially on splat zones, it could really do a lot of damage if paired well.
Blob is really good at stack controlling. You can go down from below, be on top. You can do the rebounds in the freezer. It can have a lot of control when it's in place. So Surf and Turf will want to be aware of that when the Blob can follow up. or not surf. Yeah, surf and turf. Luna Blaster is coming out on the side of surf and turf, and in all honesty, I like to see this.
That I want to see that Luna in action. I feel like if you can get some stack picks with that, and it's whoops. I guess
Unfortunately, already down early. I think the biggest thing there is that when a short range weapon like a Luna and the bucket are trying to go in head on in mid, it's not going to go well for them because usually the mid range is always watching the middle. So it's usually not a great angle to start with when you're a weapon like a Luna or a Tri.
yeah, and this Luna and Bucket too are going to depend a lot on the paint output of their junior and their splash. Is a double down. Ouch.
Oh, this opening mispath is how I'm gonna call it, is just getting punished hard. Like you see Eider on one side. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced the name, but anywho, on one side here trying to block out Snipe. We see Seekin on the other, just pushing them in on one side. However, armor is popped, and members of Surf and Turf do come out on the right side. It looks like they are trying to contest zone while Seekin's still in the base, but later here getting the ones on zone and the cap.
Oh, and now it's just gonna have to be a full send. They're already at 7-6. This might just be a clean. Oh,
they had a chance.
Seekin just coming in from the side, gets 3 of them right there, I think, and that's just a clean win for Prism.
Absolutely. They, like I said before, this map's going to be easier for the dualies to move in on with some more higher spots to go around on, and the dualies, Seekin here took the sides. Meanwhile, like I said at this opening, Surf and Turf's Tri and Luna immediately went to mid, so it was in the wide open area, and if it's seen, the longer range is going to come in and pick them right off, and that's exactly what happened. So just a bit of a pathing error there for the opening for those kind of weapons, and it was just punished. Like, we had the Tri on one side from Prism, we had the Tetras on the other side, like I said, and they just kept them locked in a corner, and then afterwards they came out from one side, but it was known that they were going to mostly come out the one side, so Prism could just collapse on it, and voila. That would be GG.
The issue with the shorter range with the Tri and the Luna is that it's really good for keeping zone because you can just sit under those ledges, but they just got picked off way too early, and then the Bob Lobber with that extra range just basically locked down the entire right side. There was nowhere to go. But Seekin with that final sort of flank in from the left there really just decimated any hope. For a second I thought they might take it.
It was really close there until they all got picked off at the same time. But anywho, we're moving on. We've got a Game 3 hype as the score is 1-1 right now. And we're going into Tower Control Starfish main stage. The flank maps of all flank map. Flank map of all flank maps. There we go. That's what I wanted to say.
Oh yeah. Those dualies are gonna have a field day on the grates on either side up into the, what is it? Oh, is it like the top corner perch? I just don't remember the call out for it, but it's such a fun map for these fast playing weapons. You just have to make sure you keep an eye on it and you can call it out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we see kind of a similar comp that Surf and Turf had for Clams is coming out for Tower Control now, and we still see pretty much the same thing coming out from Prism. It's they feel strong with it, they're gonna keep going with it. So Gudra here just waiting to see if they can just run around this other side, and is spotted out by the Tetras, but able to make it over onto the attic, just kind of coming around and making their presence known that they've been there.
Yeah, they're gonna leave as soon as they're spotted. Not a good place to get caught off. It's good for them to know probably that Surf and Turf is watching that like a hawk. Oh, looks like on the right side someone got picked off in a similar flank though.
That flank was watched. It looks like the Tri ended up, the Tri on Prism's side got the other Tri, but a bomb picking off that flank, but on the other side, Seekin was doing the same thing, also getting picked off. So Surf and Turf being in the way of these two flanks coming in simultaneously and able to start off the first push here.
Yeah, it is 1 for 1 for these flanks, honestly. They're just meeting on these sides, and well, now there's 2 trapped on the right side. That could be a big advantage here for Prism. They can make it back into mid off of that pick.
It is just a one-person advantage. We see the try is getting ready to come in and flank. This is a good position for it. They're going for this Inkjet jump. Now that they're called out, I imagine Surf and Turf is going to turn around and probably look at it, or if they know that it's not really in the play right now, going to leave it be. Who's going to win this 1v1? Neither of them. It's going to be a draw.
Yeah, but with that, Prism's able to stop that push at 73. Not a comfortable place. I'm sure that Surf and Turf is going to want to push that further, but just that try flanking around really stopped any momentum they had.
This is still the beginning of the game. This first checkpoint, it's very rare to see a game end at this first checkpoint here. It's still really early on, only a minute's gone by. This try just kind of going forward, just like, I can be dominant here. Walks forward, sloshes, and here it goes.
Oh yeah, try with high ground is never something you want to see. Oh, and there it goes again. Try with high ground and armor.
Oh, the try not quite getting out of the range, and Inkjet's coming out. Lead has been reclaimed, but it's not that far of a lead ahead, but Inkjet here defending the tower as much as possible, sees the two jumps in middle, and unfortunately none of the other teammates on Surf and Turf can go in and capitalize that. He ends up getting a really nice pick there, and it looks like Snipe has been finally controlled by Prism, and I believe this should be first checkpoint for them if they can stop the mini, which this try is doing really well of. Yep, good burst bomb.
That was a good burst bomb, yeah. 2 for 2, missiles are going out. That's able to get them past plat. That's a real danger zone, honestly. Oh, try trades.
Ader here is popping off, just doing what a try does on this map, because it can be very strong when it gets in the right positions here, and is taking off angles, getting up on Snipe, just blocking different pathways for Surf and Turf. So already at 11 KA compared to the others that are half that. So this try is putting in a lot of work on the side of Prism.
The back is hurting. You can hear the bones. But last, Surf and Turf seems to have been able to stop this push, get back into mid. They do have one special. I'm not sure if they'll use it to get back in, break neutral, if they're just going to hold it for now. But missiles go out for Prism, so might need to use it soon.
There's 2 specials on one side, 3 on the other, so the missiles were used to scout. It looks like Prism is trying to go in and get something done, and they do get something done! They picked up 2 members of Surf and Turf and now have the street cleared. It looks like there is someone just behind, probably, or to the side. They do find out that one person is the last, now is going to be stuck in a corner. I imagine they're called out here. So Surf and Turf here just scrambling to defend. The try is in the way, but Gudra getting that pick.
Gudra's just popping today on that splash, too. Oh, going around for the flank. So we'll see if he gets called out or not.
With the cam, I imagine would, but it looks like it has been just kind of missed. But we'll see if nice cancel there. It just wasn't fully aware that the flank was actually coming around, or was called out, just not acknowledged. But anywho, Gudra is in a good spot here. Ended up the final blobs just picking off Gudra. Gudra was looking so strong there.
Oh, and there's the Tri-Slosher on a ramp again. Just locking that down. If they can get this plat secure and get past this checkpoint, they can really make a run for it and possibly get lead.
And something that I find interesting here is how the Tri-Slosher is actually the tower rider for Surf and Turf. And it looks like the lead's really close to being reclaimed here. Can Prism stop it in time? They did not! Lead has been reclaimed by Surf and Turf, and they finally get wiped. This is overtime now, so Prism now has to go push this all the way to lead. So we'll see if they can do it, and the only special they have online right now is the splashdown.
Yeah, this is going to be so hard for Prism because they have to get it out of their base as well, all the way from that 37. But one does go down on Surf and Turf, so right now they have advantage. Jumping out with the missiles.
Seekon's in the way. One's on tower though. Oh, it's not there. Steven's trying to slip one. They're catching them one by one. This is really tight. Just now, everything's being shut off. Gudra's trying to come in and save the day, but they can't stop it.
They just got too desperate. They popped the armor and they got too desperate. They piled right onto tower one by one, and they will just get picked off by Prism. And Chrissy even jumped out with the missiles too, but they're just too eager to stop that.
21 KA from Ider. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
That try was going full on aggressive try, and there was a difference between both tries there. As you saw, one was more kind of objective player, the other one was just flank go all in mode. And it definitely played a little bit of a difference there, but what a comeback from Prism. We saw like they had the one special and the extras coming out side by side. Seekant got up on that snipe right away to block off that one area, and everybody else from Prism stayed relatively like close to around the tower, so if someone was trying to come in, which they were able to get up on top, they had somebody around in range able to shoot them right off if something were to happen, or at least damage them so that they were gonna go down just before they got on top of that tower. And like you pointed out, yes, Surf and Turf was coming in one by one, just hoping to make that one god hero play to just get on top of that tower and stop it and hopefully get that pick. But everyone was from Prism was around there just to deny it.
It's so understandable too. When you've got that lead, you're just thinking, we just gotta get on tower, just gotta stop it. But I really think I'm pretty sure Chrissy jumped out with their missiles. If they had just waited for the missiles to go off, it would have forced Prism to scatter off of tower. They can't stay on them if they all get shot. But instead, it was just they had the armor and they just felt that desperation, and so they sort of fed in a little. But that was a really, really good round play.
Very good round from these two teams. It was great the last time I saw them. It was great here too. These two teams do not disappoint. So good job to both teams, and congrats to Prism for taking the win in this set.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it can be a thing, but we saw the difference between the two here, so we'll go from there. But anywho, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we will be back soon with round 5. Don't go anywhere, peoples.
Maybe it's just as hype.
on respawn, but they are not giving up more space than they need to. Ace, you're doing a great job holding their own, and 2 players on the right side surviving themselves. Suction Bombers and Armor come online. Though the Splash-O-Matic has to back up a little bit, getting called out by that flank. But Booyah on plat, that's going to push all the players to the ledge area, and a second Booyah finds a pick. Beautiful coordination there from Blazing Storm as they go into zone, not wanting to go down early, but there's one in their face. Kakuru has to drop down into the pit area. Now, a 4v4 to 3 minute, 4v2. K-Shot and Time Zone go down. That's 3 down again, and a KO is imminent for Blazing Storm out of nowhere. One push getting 2 wipes and KOing, making this set 2-2.
Points remaining. That's a score you can win with. And they're going to add even more to it. 19, you could definitely win with that. That's a lot more comfortable for the Squirrels.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm looking at the point value map right now, and what you see is Kakuru on the backside here. Nice defense. You scared me there, Pop. I was looking at my resources.
Got the clams they need, but I don't think they can get to them in time. They're going to shut them down. One more power clam jumping in, and they take care of that player. One more, they're right behind. Can they get that final power clam in? One more player left alive, and they're nowhere near the basket. Oh, man. Blazing Storm survives a hellish push from the Squirrels.
But hey, now Tommy's already back in the play. It's a 4v3 situation as the ends up on the side of Squirrels are down. The Rainmaker picked up and looking for a left side push. All they have to get to is the block. But Martin with his amazing, but Inky once again saving our commentary. Giving us something interesting to look at. Gonna find a pick on the Rainmaker. A 4v2 situation. Martin getting another one.
Twitter. That other checkpoint. And they might be down by a couple of checkpoints in a KO if they're not careful right now. Ellis doing a good job staying alive. And now it's just the remix player who I don't think is in a position to defend. Oh, they are on that right side. If they can save this checkpoint, that will be critical for them. They won't. 2 checkpoint lead, possible KO coming in here. They get wiped, but still, what a to Blazing Storm. But firing off a lot right now is able to build up this huge lead. I don't think they're going to keep it much longer because they don't have the man advantage, but still a pretty substantial lead they got in the opening minute.
Kakuru on the K-Shot here.
Goodbye.
Kakuru, our favorite.
All right, everybody in chat, welcome back to Low Ink May 2022. We are going into round 5 here, and we are going to cast Original Name X versus Ink in the System. Now, these are two names new to me. I have not seen them before. However, I do recognize one person on Ink in the System coming into play today. But Dev, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, these two are relatively new to me. I do know a little bit about Original Name X's sort of tournament history just because I was the one to approve them for this Low Ink, actually. So I know that a fair amount of them do have a little bit of experience in sort of like Minnow Cup and, it was Splatter. There was one other tournament geared towards the lower level that they've played in somewhat recently, so I think they're definitely somewhat established at the very least, although I actually do not know what they play. I didn't really look too in-depth into that.
All good. And it looks like the first map we're going to be seeing here is good old Rainmaker Sturgeon Shipyard. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have mixed feelings about this map mode.
Rainmaker in general, I feel, is a very controversial mode.
True, but I know on this map in general it has the whole thing. You get it up on the top left, you jump to a certain point, you can get it to like 35, something like that. It's very cheesy. It's the cheese map mode, as a lot like to call it.
Oh, and there's sponge too. If you get a wipe, you just go straight to sponge. Similar vibe.
But we're gonna take it right in. What is it? Usually you see stingrays come out for this one. Stingrays are at least a booyah bomb just to help control certain choke areas, but I could be wrong. We'll see what we see here. And there is a lot of aggro on one side. I did double booyah on the other.
A lot of faster weapons. Save the dynamo.
Look at all this quick respawn on this Neo Splash. It's just ready to go in and fight.
Either that or it's just ready to pick up the Rainmaker and go.
that or the other. However, two are already down for Ink in the System, and Original Name X just wasting no time at all and just cruising off on this top side. However, it looks like one member does get picked off. Luna's opting to do that jump. It does the jump thing. The game just started and we've already seen the cheese.
Oh yeah, and well, it's hard to get up there to begin with, but because there isn't really a stable backline on either side, there is no way to really stop that unless you have like the missiles with the booyah already.
Yeah, there really is no stable backline. The most they got is that bucket for a midline, so if one of these weapons isn't positioned in defense spot for this push, Original Name X can just go far with it. However, two are down now on the side of Original Name X, and the Dynamo does end up getting one trade pick. However, Sonar here is going to move up with this bucket, just make a little bit of their presence known, just waiting to see where all of the members of Original Name X are going to go, and are going to try to pinch in from behind. Looks like the Rainmaker took the top left area, didn't go in from behind, didn't go in very far, but Sonar's just trying to get in the way. But Chibi here opting to jump it out. Good play, so it's gonna have to force that bucket to come back.
Yeah, NTS sort of went in a little bit, but couldn't really get a flank, and so sort of left the Rainmaker alone on that left side. I guess they opted to not try the cheese. I guess it would bring them to the same amount of points, so... Oh, already two down, though.
I didn't even see if the spinner was up or down. Oh my god, that is a wipe!
Send it! Send it! Go, go, go! Oh.
So close there, just barely
down again.
Pop, that's it. Whoa! What a turnaround!
Oh my god! And here I was thinking, it's like, oh, it's gonna be so hard because Original Name X, they had double booyah, right? It was gonna be so hard if they played their cards right to get it in. But that's just how Rainmaker works. You get that one pick and you just full send right off of that. Ooh.
This was a matter of not respecting the Rainmaker pop. And realizing that they didn't have pop. Original Name X was still around it, trying to at least paint the barrier to stall it, but they stayed really close while that comp from Ink in the System was aggro. They had subs, they were going to get popped no matter what. So because they didn't respect the barrier, that helped get the wipe. And we got a little bit of a lobby issue, so we'll just keep rolling it out here. But anywho, that game there, just we saw that opening from Original Name X. They got massive control. They got an early 2 down. They took it up on the top left and just did the whole jump thing. But it just completely took a turnaround. Like Sonar both times was going to come in and pinch from another angle, which was actually a really good play by the Slosher there. Just going to come around and pinch from the other side, meet with the other teammates. And then just everybody shooting the barrier just to keep the push going. And like I said, because Original Name X didn't respect the barrier, it caused them just to go down as well.
Yeah, it's so easy to just forget that the other team just has enough bombs. I think Ink in the system thought they were safe because the Rainmaker shield really wasn't that big, but all Original Name X had to do is just all Ink in the system had to do is just throw all their bombs into it, and it just Original Name X just couldn't get out fast enough.
They also had the faster shooting comp. I think the Slosher was the only slower weapon on that comp. So they had quick shots at the barrier. They had the subs. It was just pop in their cases, and I can't remember how many of them were wearing Object Shredder, but I'm pretty sure a couple of them at least had it. So it was definitely in their favor.
Yeah, Dynamo is such an interesting pick for that mode. I wonder if they'll bring it back again in Mako Mart.
I wouldn't be surprised. If they do know how to use the Dynamo, I can see it coming in, especially when you have like a pure dedication to it, because we all know, of course, like I get this a lot because it's a Hydra where it's just like, say it's slow, you're going to get caught out by this, you're going to get caught out by that. But if they know how to like keep an eye on what special could potentially be the biggest threat, what weapon could be the biggest threat, like I can't remember what side the Splash was on with that quick respawn, but I know that would be something to take note of, that keep an eye on the Splash just coming all in, so position yourself and your flick so that when it charges at you, you can pick it off. And all that stuff. So
yeah, it could definitely be a threat on the boxes as long as... Especially since it doesn't seem like either team... Well, we have no idea if that's going to change because Rainmaker definitely, I think, is a very non-backliner meta at the moment. If the other team doesn't run a Charger, it could definitely do a lot of damage. And Slosher on this map, too. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Slosher again on those boxes.
Well, even then, if one pulls out an actual traditional backline, we'll have to see how it goes if it's against the all aggro, like if the Dynamo does switch to a traditional backline. But I think it's probably going to stay the same because I know it can have a lot of control here, but have to really make sure that Original Name X can help get their Dynamo into position, because that is how a slower weapon gets there, is that they really need their teammates' support to get them there in those primary positions where they can just lock people out. Because if they get into that prime spot, they can be like underneath Snipe Ledge on Mako here, for example. They can be on top of a box. Their flicks just do deadly damage when it comes to being on, like, if they're pushing, if they're on the right box, for example, just flicks over, they can help control the area for, like, in freeze or underneath the clam goal for their team, and it can just be nasty.
Yeah, and everyone is back in now, so we should be starting kind of soon. The one thing about like a Dynamo is just the amount of sheer paint you need to really, and it was as you were saying, like for their teammates to get them in the position, they really need to supplement that Dynamo with enough paint to get it where it needs to be. So I wouldn't be surprised
even
if
just
we see some junior almost.
Yeah,
now.
even just a quick bomb. Like, it's good if just to have someone with a sub weapon just be like, hey, bomb this corner so I can be here. And then they have paint at their feet, and then when they flick, they can basically like help paint a corner for themselves and all that stuff. Another thing with Clan Blitz, especially on Mako, is that this is also like a finger snap reaction kind of map mode. Like, once a push is over, you can immediately be on the other side establishing yourself for a counter push. And I see that a lot on this map mode, so it's going to be another rapidly paced game with how short this map can feel sometimes, just going back and forth from the basket. So it's going to have a Rainmaker feel to it, but in this case, now they've got to put a whole bunch of clams into one spot.
Yeah, now there has to be enough coordination to make sure that you're not just taking pot shots at that basket, getting like one big clam in, and then just having your whole team go down usually isn't worth it in the long run. You just give the other team a power clam, and then you have to burn through your extra points, your penalty points. So I'm really interested to see how both these teams sort of set up this push to be successful.
And now we're finally going into the game. We will see the comps coming in here shortly. So game 2 currently 1-0 for Ink in the system. Here we go with Clamblitz Mako. Kensaluna coming in play. The Dynamo's not here. A Blob and a K Sheen coming up for the other side. I don't know. I love
Fizzy Bomb. Fizzy Bomb on both sides.
Yep.
This is really interesting.
Fizzy Bomb is pretty crazy on this map mode. It can just control those little alleyways like no problem. Just toss a Fizzy and ta-da! You don't want to be there.
So much chip damage too. If you can
However,
position it in a good
the
place.
blob pick on this map mode is really nice because I know, like, I myself like to play blob here because, like I mentioned before, it's a big stack control weapon when it's up on top. And now it looks like we see Ink in the system trying to get a clam, but caught in the both their own and teammates' missiles. While this Kensaluna just goes in, picks up some clams, trying to come in forward, putting Fizzy in the way. With other teammates as well. I love this pairing that's being done by the Kensaluna and the other teammate here.
Oh yeah. Well, it's definitely necessary for the Kensaluna, who is otherwise going to have trouble closing off that space. But they're doing really well getting these Fizzies out, pairing up. So they're set to make a really big impact.
Something interesting that just happened here is Original Name X. They just kind of came in and broke the barrier, and the other 3 of their teammates were way back on the other side, but yet they still, all 3 of them managed to come in and get follow-up, which I am surprised they were able to do.
Yeah, it's full set, all 3 of them full set, and this like concept of if we all go, they can't stop all of us, and well, made it halfway down.
It's kind of just showing it how small this map really feels, because they were literally on their own side of the map when that happened. But as quick as one push ends, the other is starting, just as how fast-paced this map is, like I was talking about earlier. And Ink in the system is looking to see if they can potentially get the clams in, but they are being very well defended out.
Yeah, that rain just, I think, prevented any hope of them being able to go back in and finish off the clams they were holding.
Yeah, that was a really good rain, followed up by the Fizzy, and then just the Luna being in presence. It was very good at just keeping them stalled out. So now we've got another neutral play here. Everybody's up, and the special that they have is Bomb Rush and Armor on the other side. Oh, they did manage to pick off the shot. That is a big pick here, as now Original Name X is just trying to get control of this stack. They're calling for this way. They want to make this push off. They missed. Oh no!
And this Luna is really doing well, comboing their Fizzy Bombs with their indirects or directs, but at the end of the day, I think they looked too far up when throwing that clam in.
They did, however, get the one clam in, but they didn't get enough to help break that penalty. They were still 2 clams from it. But either way, still good attempt at going in. Even though those 2 clams were missed, it was still a solid attempt, and we got, 3 for 2 there, in middle there, as Ink in the system now looks like that they're going to steal the way, as this clam's just going to swim right in, but there is Fizzies in the way. Members of Original Name X are already back to defend, so the one chance is going to be stalled out a little bit here. As the 1-foot flank from behind! Very nice flank from Pine, picking off that power clam, getting a second too, and what was once in Ink in the system's favor is now in Original X's.
Chibi just went, I know what I must do. Flanked her around with a mini. Geez, that is definitely not the weapon you'd expect to see doing that, but he made it work.
Look, I flank as a Hydra. You can expect anything to flank, okay?
Yeah, especially.
Anywho, we've got Original Name X coming in. They're trying to use some specials here. The splashdown here canceling out. They'll take a bomb rush and just trying to make their way in, but they're trying to break. They were trying to fight through this line, this wall that Ink in the system had made up, and that is something that they just needed to recognize and back up from. Just to try to break that wall and find another way through, instead of just trying to force their way through with pressure. Instead, it just made them go down, and now Ink in the system is back up in their face, and they have a lot of this fall-off from the Blob and the K-Sheen to get back under this basket.
Oh, missiles going out. Probably can get one in here. Yep. Splashdown means Sonar's gonna live.
This is really close to lead here. They got the
And
lead.
that's it. There's a white too. Oh my gosh.
Just ink in the system here now. Yep. They're just continuing to go in. Here's
Sonar just Sonar on that machine.
This is where this double kind of bucket comp really comes in handy, is when you get installed like this, there's no stopping it because the blobs and the K-Sheen shots just go over these ledges, and what are you gonna do? You can't really do much about that unless if you have some kind of counter special, which Original X did not have.
Just all suddenly the points are at 0. That machine too is doing a lot of work, just locking down all the blocks so that there was nowhere for Original X to really go, and then stopping anyone from coming in on the left side, just sitting under ledge, really where it shines.
However, that Zap and K shot on Ink in the system, shining off their high K numbers there with 17 and 15. So a lot of teamwork definitely made present there, as that last push just couldn't have gone any better for Ink in the system.
What did they start at? Was it 70?
Yeah, I think 70.
I think it was like 70, right?
Yeah, it was around there, yeah.
Yeah, 70 to 0. Jeez. That was a very clean push.
Now we are coming into Ink Blot zones. Now this one's always been interesting to see because I never see anything fully consistent in comps on this map mode. There's so many different strategies people pull out on this map mode because of this just tight area in the middle and these walls just kind of concealing it. You can bring out a lot of different things here with the right coordination. So it'll be interesting to see if they have something different practiced here from both of these teams, or if they're just gonna roll with something basic.
I feel like I expect to see missiles or rain, or we've seen now that they can pull out the machine. The fizzy bombs on plat here really can do a lot of work, especially with the little drop off that a machine can just kind of sit under. So I almost wonder if they'll bring it back.
All right, we've got a ballpoint and a brush coming out on one side, and a Squiffer's making an appearance on the other. And that is a vanilla ballpoint that I do see here. So they're opting for Mist and Inkjet on the ballpoint, which could be an interesting case because I don't see vanilla ballpoint on zones too often. So I'm very interesting to see it being played here.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen a Squiffer too. So.
Oh, you're missing out. There's been a lot of Squiffers making their faces known in the comp scene these days. So just to help put up with these aggressive comps, a lot of the players that know how to play Charger will go to a Squiff and they will get some work done.
Oh, already 3 down on ITS though. Or Pop's armor for themselves, I guess, to have this bad situation.
They do manage to come out alive. Just because the Squiff can't fully paint zone on its own. There's a brush, a ballpoint, and someone else nearby on zone for the other side, but it's not capped for either, which is interesting. There's enough paint going down just to keep it neutral for this long. But finally, it goes in Original Name X's favor. Sonar here having the splashdown, just playing their space really well here, using this block for cover, and just waiting for the opportune moment to move in. But we hear a hammer coming out, and it's going after this Squiffer. Can it escape? The hammer gets 2! What a hammer! Coming in and around and surviving and getting 2 picks. This is big for Original Name X.
The plat menace just jumped from mid straight on and immediately popped it. Oh god. And the ballpoint opting not to sit in the middle, probably because there's this Charger here. Just gonna be a menace in general. Trying to hit those fall-offs.
I would have loved to see a Mist just kind of come out in the middle of the plat there, just to get 2 of those members stuck, to have more of like a guaranteed shot there, or put it up on the Squiffer just to stall them out a little bit. But I'd love to see the use of that Mist on the plat a little more. But the Squiffer here taking the top mid, which is a prime spot for weapons like this, as they do know the ballpoint is in a stuck position down behind, and that Inkjet immediately got picked off, and the brush got picked off right away too. And Ink in the system getting a full wipe on Original Name X, and now they're just going in full-on lock mode.
Yeah, they're just gonna try and push up and try and prevent Original Name X from even getting close to zone. They just have to stall it out now. They're very close to just finishing the cap. Oh, but there's a flank around on original name X. Can it paint enough?
It's a 1v1. It's a 2v1. They do put it down. It was the junior. So this is, it was a big moment there that the junior needed to be alive for that and was taking a 2v1. So this looks like GG's for Ink in the system.
Yeah, Ink in the system knew what they had to do. They had to push up and stall. They were only at 20 points. Like, even if you get killed in that time, your enemy still has to make it all the way to zone and then paint to capture it. And with this sort of map with the giant tower in the middle, that's actually incredibly difficult to do it in a timely manner.
I do have to say that junior there making a really gutsy play, going on to zone to even try to neutralize it, to stall at all. I just wish like another teammate of theirs could have even like went with them going around, because they had the right idea of going around and getting around on the backside. It was just really unfortunate that they didn't have a team member that was able to fully follow up on that, so then they would be able to have the 2v1.
Yeah, well, all the focus is on that one Ink jet, so definitely could have probably sent some people over to help, but in the end, Ink in the system takes the round.
Ink in the system with the 3-0, but GG's on both ends. We definitely saw both teams with their times to shine, with how, like, that Mako game for sure showed how back and forth it could be, and how well the teams can clash against each other. Of course, at the end, we saw Ink in the system got the advantage. They wanted to get their buckets into play, but original name X still coming out with some solid starts and able to get some good pushes off, like they did on that Rainmaker game too. They had that really quick burst opening with 2 down, did the cheese. They had a good start there. They definitely have good fight power, and I'm looking forward to seeing them again in the future.
Oh, JPEG.
But anywho, now before we switch over to a break here, we have a few announcements points to advertise to you, other events that we want to promote for you guys that you guys should definitely take a look at in the future.
Yeah, JPEG is yelling at us a little bit. So the first one is Duel Inc. is having their 100th edition this time around, happening on Saturday, May 29th. This is a 2v2 tournament hosted by Double Trouble, and will have double elimination if there's less than 17 teams, or they'll have a round-robin stage into a top 8 cut if there are 17 or more teams. They'll also have a $100 prize pool. Nice. This tournament will be happening May 29th at 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Eastern over at twitch.tv/doubletrouble_Splatoon. If you're interested, go to discord.io/doublespl.
100 dual inks. That is a lot.
$100 prize pool. That's also a fair amount.
Absolutely, definitely good experience to go over and play in that, no matter what level and all that stuff. So it's good experience to go in and do an event like this, no matter what for the level. But anywho, moving on, and also we gotta hype up Friday Night Frenzy Season 4. That is kicking off on Friday, June 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern. 8 teams will battle it out all season to see who will become the FNF4 champion. All matches will be streamed and commentated, so be sure to tune in to root for your favorite team. Follow at FNF_SPL on Twitter and Splatoon Tourney on Twitch to catch the action. And I'll tell you, these 8 teams, it's stacked. Like, I can't even predict anyone who could be on top for this season. It's going to be great.
A lot of Krakens on this image.
That is true, but you know what? These teams are known in the scene, lots of familiar names, and FNF4 is going to be super hyped, so definitely don't miss that, everybody. But for now, we are going to take a quick break, so we'll see you soon for round 6.
Get set up. But now, look, this is a great position to be in. You want to be on that enemy grate. And again, you got 2 checkpoints you have to clear, and you both can't just sit right there. Kukuru trying to make a play along this right side. So they're still in a good position to defend this first checkpoint. Or maybe they're not. Look at all these. What is going on over here?
Yeah, Kraken. The fat cat hasn't sung yet, so it's not quite over yet.
I didn't call it over yet. I learned my lesson at the last one, and it looks like a bomb rush might be able to neutralize it.
Oh, just barely. This time it was over. You should have said something, Kraken. We'd have more to pop as my opposite just paints up.
Yeah, paint key here. A lot of wide areas, a lot of areas to try to shark. You can see that Sploosh on the other team tried to shark. Ooh, MPU!
That's three! They're going for the quad! They got the quad! They got it!
They're definitely going to get it.
A 3-down situation in favor of Squirrels, and another splat. Nice on that plat. That's going to delay the VJet from another respawn, another retake. Now 15 ticks are remaining, and Squirrels has a beautiful log. Another pick from Kukuru. A beautiful position from this T-Tech. Missiles coming online. 3 ticks are left. They go down, but that's your game.
Booyah bomb. That is going to stop as well.
That's going to be game there, Hoenn, unless some magic happens here. He's just there in a bad position. They might get neutral.
Oh, they get the stop. They get the stop. They get a pick. They get 2 picks. And they take the zone. It's not over till it's over. Reset, so they're going to have to waste time on that, unfortunately.
Both sets of missiles were used, I want to point that out. And they're just now getting forward. So those missiles landed and already did their damage before the opponents really got to push up. Which they still used the bubbles and got fantastic points out of that, Hoenn.
That was a big push there. That was a nice snipe.
In too far, but the 52 is with them, and that wall is going to stop any sort of picks that's happening. The missiles do find one, but I don't think there's nearly enough time to get to the zone as well. Toad might have something to say about it, though. Getting a great hit on the zone, and that Junior is the one and only weapon that really has the painting output. That's a fantastic...
Alrighty, everybody, and we are back with the last round of Swiss for Low Ink Day 1, May 2022. I am Devi, joined by Dev, and we are going to be casting Neon Palmtree versus Pain Bashers.
They all have the. Isn't that the Ink Basher?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, it is. It's basically Ink Bashers, but they put themselves in as Pain Bashers, so we're gonna roll with that.
PB.
Yes. PB time. Anywho, starting off, what is it? I'm sure a lot of people will recognize a bunch of names on the rosters here. I know from Pain Bashers in particular. Definitely have seen them around quite a bit, and there's going to most likely be a Tri-Slosher coming out from Pain Bashers.
Oh, we're messing around with the click marks here now, the PB.
The team that's not actually fully readied up is the one that's going all there. Okay, anyway, they're going back and on. They're waiting for one. But we're going to be starting on Tower Control Manta Maria. And we're going to be getting into this right away. So yeah, there's probably going to be a Tri-Slosher, and that's going to mean a lot of control in those tight choke points of street, maybe top left. We never know. It could be changed up too.
You don't know until it starts. Oh, but there it is. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Rain Zap is making an appearance here from Pain Bashers, and I don't see Rain Zaps very often, but I know how much control they can do, especially when they work with their team. There's also a Vanilla Dually coming out. We've got, of course, my good old beloved Hydra is coming out from Jonathan here, and a Luna Blaster as well. So, Neon Palmtree is running something similar to what I would run on my team. And I'd love to see it.
You're down right there to a well-placed burst bomb, and that's a wipe. Double zap though. There's gonna be so much paint on the side of Pain Bashers. I'm so sorry. I keep wanting to say Ink Bashers.
That's alright. But yeah, definitely there's going to be a lot of a paint difference here between the two comps, but one's got a lot more kill power than the other. It's just making sure that they can secure these picks, knowing where the other teams are, and stopping these painters from getting complete dominance.
Yeah, it's quite possible that Neon Palmtree might also have an advantage with this Hydra, actually able to have that anchor to stay back and just shoot at tower from a safe distance. Yeah, this is
where we cue the Jeopardy song. Yes, with Nito there just cueing Jeopardy song, waiting, and that Hydra beautifully executing what I like to call the mine combo. Getting the pick on that Tri-Slosher in the corner there, and able to stop the Tri from doing a lot of damage.
Oh, he almost just dies to a bomb there. Baller's out, trying to get more space. Oh, just lands on that poor Nito, honestly.
Yeah, Nito's just kind of finding themselves stuck in these situations, but something that I noticed as well is that Neon Palmtree is staying really far back. When they have these, when they're trying to go in and make these plays, their teammates are staying further back than they need to be. We need like a second person following up with that baller, or just with the Hydra shots. And now we see they're finally moving up as a group, and they have 2 down on the side of Pain Bashers. That is 3 down. This is their opportunity. We should see the Luna moving up to take the street here. The Hydra's actually opting to take tower here, which is actually interesting to see, because with the Hydra taking tower, it's taking away this prime spot that they could take on Bunker. So just losing all those angles that they can do to stop Pain Bashers from coming in. But however, this pro is putting in a lot of work.
Oh, on the choke point, looks like 2 went down. Yeah, this Tri-Slosher on ramp is just going to be a hard thing to overcome. Although they were able to call him out earlier when they were sharking, I believe, on the top plat area. Able to pick that off early, so that's good for them. They did get lead off of that. If they can just be a bit more aggressive with their long range, they can definitely afford to play this more slowly and dictate the pace of the game.
This is an interesting use of specials. This Rain and Missiles both came out, and the Luna just kind of came in from behind and got a pick. it's still 2 down on the side of Neon Palm Trees, but this N-Zap on Pain Bashers here, just looking to try to find some way out, but does finally get dropped on. So Neon Palm Trees here with a bit of an advantage now. They do have the lead, and as long as they can keep the ranged weapons in play to cover for like the K-Shot and the Luna, they can have a really strong neutral game here. But they're staying, again, they're playing really further back, and they're allowing Pain Bashers to come in. Like this Dooley was just able to come in from the left and get that flank.
And 2 down now. Missiles going out, trying to stall out this push before it starts, let their teammates come back in. I think 1 dropped to that. We'll see. 2 down on the side of Ink Bashers now, so...
That quick turnaround, that the quick 180 just to stop the person from coming in from behind and doing damage. There's less than a minute left. Both teams now have all members up. It looks like the Hydra's playing the low ground, now opting to go high. They're finding a little bit of a hard time trying to find a spot here, but I think they realize that they need to be in a good spot for defense here with what's happening. Again, Specials coming out really early on the side of Pain Bashers, and they're just getting shut down before even a push even starts.
Yeah, Neon Palm Tree is really in their optimal place here, having the lead, especially with the Hydra. They can just sort of wait for Pain Bashers to overextend and just punish it. Like you saw that one person just going up onto the wall and the Hydra immediately shut them down.
Now we're going to the last 5 seconds. Overtime is going to begin. Pain Bashers here trying to get on tower. 2 seconds left. Oh, they're taking the tower a little too early! They took the tower too early!
It's a wipe!
This is a huge opportunity for Pain Bashers. This could potentially just be lead here if the Luna can't get anything done.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get on that ramp with the Tri coming around.
This is so cool! Oh my gosh! No! That is such a tragic event to see! Neon Palm Trees, they miscalculated the time for overtime and went in when there was still 2 seconds.
Overcommitted on the tower.
Oh no!
And
I need to see it.
They had the perfect... There was the perfect special pop too with the rain and the missiles. You can't get onto that ramp to contest it at all. Hydra was all the way back in base basically after respawn.
I don't know. We had just a moment. That is. Why do these moments always happen when I'm on mic here? Like we had the like I said, the Myopsitis clip still haunts me from when I was on mic for that, and now the little tragedy of what happens when you overcommit to tower before overtime even happens. And even the Hydra went too. Both of the ranged weapons committed to that tower and just getting them completely shut down before even on, and oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's such a common thing to see sometimes. It's just so hard to remember. I think I said in that Surf and Turf one, where it's just heat of the moment, you're just like, I just have to get on tower, but it's like, if you just run in, you're just gonna... Yeah, the panic. You can really feel it set in, and at that point, it's too late.
However, we are now at Rainmaker main stage, and it'll be interesting to see here if Neon Palm Tree is going to change up the comp maybe a little bit, or if they are going to run the same thing. I believe Pain Bashers is probably going to run a relatively similar comp. Where they've had kind of like the double paint, they've had the extra back there, they have the aggressive Tri front line. Both are qualifying here. However, by the looks of it, if Pain Bashers were playing like how they were on the last time, they can get a good solid push forward with the Rainmaker. It's just if Neon Palm Tree continues to catch out the Tri flanks early, that could put a big hole in their plan.
Dapples. I used to love Dapples. That was my main, so it's like seeing my old baby back on screen again.
Seeing these other weapons come back out again, it's so refreshing to me. So they're running a double rain comp, I believe, on the side of Pain Bashers, which can be very controlling in this tight area. And meanwhile, there's been a pretty massive change on the other side as they've got the Sploosh 7, they've got the C-Jet, N-Zap, and a K-Shot. So definitely a change up here. However, Zap here going into 2 members armored, but the Sploosh 7 here is trying to see if they can maybe still get something done. Caught in rain and mist. Missing the opportunity. They didn't see that the members of Pain Bashers went up and behind to fleet this hammer.
Yeah, 2 flanks at the same time. One got caught out, one did not, but in the end overcommitted a bit there. Didn't check map first and see that little sneaky that one player go to wing, just sneak past their view.
If they didn't go back into the choke, the next place they would go is up the wall on the grate. It's the second escape route, and unfortunately it was just missed. So with the person hiding up on the grate, they could just come back around and shoot from behind, taking down the hammer and actually reverse trapping them in the situation. However, nice pick there on the N-Zap by this K-Shot. And Rainmaker's still stuck in mid. 80's not that far. They're seeing this flank in the corner here. They do manage to pick it off. Nice teamwork there, picking off these dualies. And now they do see another one trapped in the corner. However, is getting the upper hand as they are armored. So still a neutral game.
Yeah, Neon Palmtree sort of has a bit of an advantage in this neutral just because they have so much range from that jet. Can just shoot from a safe place, but oh, now the Rainmaker shots are going out. Dislodge the jet from flat. Ray comes out. And they just do a great job collapsing in on Ray. It's a 2 for 2.
That is a full wipe. And now Pain Bashers in a similar situation as they were at the end of the last game. They are just fully taking control of this wipe that they have punished. And this Dapples the K-Shot just blocking and the Rainmaker should get dunked. And that is that. One single wipe that Pain Bashers can get, and voila, it's just been over.
Was it Woomy that went up in base for that raid too?
Yes, it was the
raid.
Apples.
Or Woomy just went off. You gotta hit the button too, so you go like Woomy.
That's what you gotta do. It's hit the aggro button and voila. If they can stall that out, then you're gonna catch that panic and you're gonna catch everyone trying to come in one at a time and not realizing that this Dapples is just in front. And then it's just going to be constant 1v1. So the Dapples have the mobility, and if they're up that close, they can get their damage done, put out properly, and just cause a lot of grief and all that. So just clearly, just making sure that Rainmaker has a clear path through.
And then next one is Clemblitz on Piranha. And I wonder here, Neon Palmtree seems to be running the more consistent backline, so this might favor them a bit just because a backline is very good for anchoring near like the grates and the at base area under basket. It makes it a lot harder to push that straightaway without just getting mowed down.
It depends on how you play it, because there are 2 different ways you can utilize this backline, and how it's, I guess, how they've trained to play. That is one way, and the other way is being fully aggressive on the wings. And that can just help secure a push immediately off the bat on this map in particular. So I would love to see if the Hydra comes out here, if they're going to stick something more classic.
Blue guns.
No, they're bringing a charger on this map.
Scope too.
It is a scope charger, so this one will probably be more of a traditional backline play. Meanwhile, Pain Basher is still running with relatively similar thing. However, they brought these Glugas with the baller and the wall. So these Glugas, I can just already tell you, are going to be an absolute nuisance in the enemy plan goal.
Oh my god, this shot knows what it has to do. It got missiles and I think under 15 seconds was already out. Pushing them all the way back with this baller too. Are they actually gonna follow up though?
Yeah, they're trying. There's some people in between, so they just had to get through those ones in between before they could go in and get that push. However, that was just from this initial start was very clean from Pain Bashers. Just coming in, doing that 2v1 on the wing, and now they're under basket scoring. Glugas, like I said, are going to be an absolute menace underneath this basket, and they're still going.
Oh, that was a beautiful wall. Came out right in time to stop from getting sniped and just picked off the charger while they were in range. Ringo's out.
The nice snipe off the corner there. Bravo, Charger. Bravo.
7 clams. They're still sitting under basket. They're just waiting for enough to make another push.
They really are, and something that, like, Pain Bashers here is absolutely punishing this this one-on-one feeding that is happening right now from Neon Palmtree. Neon Palmtree needs to kind of take a bit of a breather here and come in as one, because they're just coming into all of this range, and you can see none of them have been able to get like fully back alive in this game, and I think this will be the first time we see all of them alive coming back in. But as I say that, oh my god!
But you only need one more.
They need to make sure this one clam doesn't come in.
They don't have any clams.
They don't have it.
Hanging on by the skin of their teeth.
I think there was a slight bit of miscommunication there. Who's going to get clams, or the 2 clam gatherers were the ones that were down. So stopped at 2. So Neon Palmtree here really needs to find the way out of this, and they did opt to grab the pity early while they have another clam. So 2 of them are going to be spotted out. And it's going to make it a little bit tougher to get in on a push there, because Pain Bashers can see these 2 clams and do a 2v1 pinch.
Oh yeah, the big thing here is just it's going to be a lot harder to push in with this Charger. Pain Bashers has all this aggro that they can just use to get into your backline and rip it apart. This Charger, you really need to get a first pick before you can follow up on anything.
You really do, and we see the Charger here kind of holding down mid a little bit. The other members of Neon Palmtrees, they have gained control back. However, Pain Bashers again with this lovely 2v1 play coming in from the right-hand side. Now that is team play you want to see. When they give you an opening, you can just go and get this main target. It was one of them that has the clams, and what a great just awareness play by these 2 members of Pain Bashers.
Oh, and the rain pushes him even further back. Missiles to cap it off. There's oh god. Slosher just went ham in their base. They have a clam here, so they might look to finish it. Oh. Yeah, 3 down on the side of Neon Palmtree.
It's really close.
Yeah, I think they should.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, it was like they should do it, unless if another double sniped happens, or some other fancy thing. But Pain Bashers just all up in Neon Palmtree's face there.
Yeah, with that Charger, it's so hard to get back from a lockout too, because again, you rely on those Charger picks to go in. You can't just hold forward into it. This map is so difficult to come back, like if they're all just set up under your plat like that. You have to move from the same place, and dropping off of the grates is like almost suicide, especially with all the high kill power.
And in those positions. Oops.
No, sorry, I'm done now.
Yeah, no, in those situations, you really, like, it's one of those moments where the backlines really have to rely on their teammates. And I called out there in the middle there that there was a huge stagger happening. There was a feed happening from Neon Palmtree. And the Charger did end up getting a double in there and peaking at really good moments. So good job to the Charger there for getting those picks. It was just very unfortunate that the rest of the members of Neon Palmtree kept going down one after one after one after one, and there was never really a moment where they could all come back in as a team, which leaves the backline kind of stuck, and then the rest of the team can't really go in anywhere because everyone else is at a disadvantage on the bottom.
Yeah, there was a little bit there where they were able to sort of push up into mid. They were able to get enough space for that Charger, and I think I got a few picks like that, but just the pure sort of overwhelming aggression of Pain Bashers is really just kind of split them apart almost constantly that entire game.
Can't fully disregard Neon Palmtree though. They did have some really good moments as well, like on the tower control Manta game. They were doing so well at keeping the control, even though they played it more passively. They did it to their comp's advantage. In some cases, especially when it came to defending. They had a really good game there. It was just the unfortunate mistiming on overtime that cost them the loss there. That's the only big moment there, besides of a couple times where they could have added more pressure, but otherwise they had a really good TC Manta game. in that run. So that's still bravo to both teams. And Pain Bashers here, they were capitalizing on those errors and were able to come out with those KOs. So Pain Bashers does take the 3-0 in this set.
Very good final round to end off on for Solo Wink May 2022.
It feels so different to me because I don't remember the last time I've commentated a day one because I usually have to do day two. But so yeah, that ends day one for us. But we're gonna promote a few more things before we continue on with some sign-offs here. So coming back to some upcoming events, Dev, take it away.
Yeah, just in case you missed it last time, Duel Inc. is having their 100th edition, this time happening on Sunday, May 29th. This is a 2v2 tournament hosted by Double Trouble and will have double elimination if there's less than 17 teams, or a round-robin stage into a top 8 cut if there are 17 or more teams. There's a $100 prize pool, so you really don't want to miss this one. The tournament will be happening May 29th at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time over at twitch.tv/doubletrouble_Splatoon. If you're interested, you can go to discord.io/double_SPL.
Very big hype for 100th tournament for Duel Inc., so definitely don't miss that out. And then we also have Friday Night Frenzy Season 4 kicking off on Friday, June 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern. 8 teams will battle it out all season to see who will become the FNF4 champion. All matches will be streamed and commentated, so be sure to tune in and root for your favorite team. And I can tell you, with this lineup, it's going to be hard to pick a favorite. So follow at FNF_SPL on Twitter and Splatoon Tourney on Twitch to catch the action. I know I'm going to be there behind the scenes pretty much every week, and I hope to see a lot of you guys in chat with your hype over at Splatoon Tourney when FNF does kick off here in like a week and a half time.
Yeah. Like I said, if you liked watching this set, see Pain Bashers again on Friday Night Frenzy.
Yeah, look who's in the lineup! They're in the lineup! Oh, but so many favorite teams in this lineup, but and that is that for talking points, which means we're done here with day one.
Hey.
Dev, it's been a pleasure chatting with you again, commentating you, the two clones coming on mic together.
We get 2 more and we have a team, I'm telling you.
Well, we know there's another one that exists, we just need one more. Anywho, Dev, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at armor_bot, and mostly I just lurk behind the scenes on most things. I'm retired now. Sorry, everybody. But and Debbie, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Debbie Doovie or on Twitch. I do stream Grillers action and of course all of the Hydra shenanigans you are going to see. However, I have been using ballpoint again recently, so it's been a good run. So all the Hydra action. I love that weapon. That's me. Anywho, also big shout outs to staff for putting on this amazing event as always each month for all of you guys to play in and enjoy. So shout outs to staff, stream production, and all of them. Appreciate all of them. So, and of course to chat for making this stream much hype and cheering on your favorite teams. And make sure you come back for day 2 tomorrow. You definitely don't want to miss it.
Oh yeah.